If you were here earlier, you saw the bumper. Our dead sexy Bull Critter Corin went ahead and laid out some of the wonderful things going on. And we left off with me having to do the legacy. So, I either got to do something about the 13 pieces of Alatoon, or I have to do something about Kumo. And I think I'm going to add an event. I think I'm going to add an event during Imperial Gojira. But before I do that, I need a quick refresher. I understand that the period before it is the period of the 13 feudal states.
Mm-hmm.
Is Imperial Gojira after the feudal states, so they've reunified somehow? Or
it's my understanding of the Imperial Gojira was this is a time when basically like there's an emperor, but he's basically just a figurehead. He has no real power anymore.
Yeah,
okay.
A shogun of some sort has taken over and consolidated power into a central location.
Yeah, like the Imperial Japanese army.
Okay.
So it's just their army consisted of the military and the navy, and they kind of controlled the government. So I don't know if that's how you want to do it, but that's what I was thinking when I made the period.
Yeah, we can flesh out how it's done, right? I mean, there could be
no, we definitely can. I just wanted to get a
general
idea.
That it's the emperor has no power and it's been consolidated by somebody else. Whether it's
okay.
Or whoever.
That's all that you specified?
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about some stuff. I'm really interested in this episode and kind of exploring Kumo and the early period. So that's I call it either way, wherever we get directed.
But I'm going to add an event to Imperial Gojira and saying that one of the 13 pieces of Alatoon, the spine of Alatoon, disappears. It is stolen or lost. I'm not sure. I'm not going to specify necessarily. All I know at this point is that it is a bad event and that the spine of Alatoon, one of the 13 pieces, has gone missing.
So the spine, is that like the hilt or what kind of piece is that?
The backside of the blade, I would say, is the spine.
You guys are doing it again.
What?
Right. Are we talking about Rend pieces or I got confused. Is it Rend or Alatoon?
No, Alatoon. Alatoon got split into 13 pieces.
The Sword of Alatoon.
So whoever
Sword of Alatoon.
So somebody took one of the clan's pieces?
One of the clan's pieces either was taken, stolen, lost. I'm not going to specify right now. The event is just that the spine of Alatoon goes missing.
As soon as you said spine, I instantly thought of Rend like ripping her spine.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. For me, when I think of spine, like we were talking about the sword breaking into multiple weapons.
The back blade.
And I kind of thought, like, instead of a blade, the spine of Alatoon is like the central core of the entire thing, which was like a bow staff.
Yeah, we've been talking
about bow staff.
A metal staff or a spear, maybe, or a halberd.
Yeah, something like that. It might be a spear, it might be a staff. It's some sort of a pole weapon. I know that much. We really haven't decided what the 13 pieces are, so I'm dictating that one of the pieces is called the spine of Alatoon, and it's some sort of pole weapon.
Did it get stolen from the person who it was gifted to, or did it get stolen before the gifting happened?
No, it definitely got stolen from the clan.
Okay.
It was with a clan at some point, and then in the next period, the Imperial period, it goes missing.
Got it.
Stolen?
We doesn't know yet.
I'm not specifying. If someone wants to add an event later to specify what happened to it.
Earthquake happens and then it
like lost or traded or whatever. It's part of a dowry.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm leaving that open, which you're not necessarily supposed to do, but I think that we can hit some interesting points on what exactly missing means right now. As far as history knows, in a broader scope, until we explore it, is that the spine of Alatoon goes missing at some point during Imperial Gojira. That's it. Now, last time we did this, there was a step that we kind of had missed, which after the next lens we're going to pick up, when we finish a round, after we do the legacy, we're supposed to kind of almost like when we were doing the Dawn of Worlds, kind of not necessarily conclusions, but a brief discussion about the events and things that happened during the previous rounds.
So a resolution.
That'd be helpful.
Essentially a resolution like we were doing before. It's just kind of to bring some of the ideas further together. I think in general, while we're talking and working through it, we generally do that anyways.
Yeah.
But it's so if we hit any points where we need a little more clarity, we have the opportunity to sit down and go, okay, wait a minute, this, or this, and then kind of definitely get a fully formed idea between all four of us. Just in case someone is sitting a little bit left or right of a particular thought. Okay. And with that, John was the last lens. That means that Bull Critter Corinth,
Oh God,
is up to be the lens. So you have to pick what our focus for this round is.
Okay. So while he's debating what interests him, how about we go back to that convo before about HP and tempo? So we're on topic at least, right? And then whenever Corinth's ready, he'll just chirp in and say, "I got my idea. Here it is."
Oh yeah, I missed out on what you guys were talking about earlier.
That's okay. We were talking about how HP and stuff influences the flow of play in D&D.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How 5th edition. You're not supposed to be involved in this conversation, Corinth. You have to figure out your focus.
You're right.
How hit points like affect the story narratively because they lower the stakes that you feel like when you're playing, especially like when you're dungeon crawling.
Yeah, and
it's so easy to regain hit points in the system.
So we were talking about. I said like how L5R. You have Midgard that you're interested in because you're trying to figure out how to bring that into the fantasy of D&D without losing the HP stakes. And we got on to how it's not just the HP, but also like the fact that we can instantly heal. And that kind of brings away, or the short rest, long rest is, I think, where we left it.
So are the blue cards on the left side, those are those focus
those are
points?
Event cards.
On the left side, those
the ones that have people's names. Yeah, those are the legacies.
Legacies. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. I was just double checking.
You can use one of those as your focus too. Your focus is up to you, man.
Yeah, definitely. I want to focus on Kumo.
You want to focus on Kumo. So all the events and periods and anything else we add right now will be Kumo related.
Yes.
Okay. Now, one other
to start
thing,
that off.
You do, but one other thing that I need to add that we weren't necessarily doing correctly last time, as the lens, as the person who picks the focus, you can make both the times you get to go. If you have a thought, can make nested things, so you can create a period and an event at the same time, or an event and a dictated scene at the same time.
Yeah, which is kind of the thing that we got into a huge argument about last time. It just clarifies that you can do it.
Is it a dictated scene for the nested ones, or is it?
It is a dictated scene.
We can change it. We can change that too, though, if you want.
Yeah, we can.
Definitely. We can do that.
Yeah, I'm not
actually the RP is fun.
Rules. I'm just hard set on all of us being on the same page on what means.
Yeah, it just means that when you do a period, you can nest an event, basically, or a scene.
Also, Q, on the Civil War period. Now, are we saying that there is some form of nation state, and that's why it's a civil war? There are groups of people fighting against that nation state, or are we saying or are we just saying it's a time of wars?
Well, I mean, when I split the horde up, it kind of created 4 different nation states anyway.
Okay.
So I would assume when you guys put Civil War down, I thought that meant Civil War, period. Like, doesn't that necessarily just have to be Gojira? It could be Gojira fighting against the Protos or the Primals.
There might have been, I was thinking that it was both internal wars within Gojira and then wars between Gojira, the sons of Skarn.
Because before we established these 13 feudal states, they kind of are just like a giant tribe, like a giant nation of people. So yeah, I get what you're saying, John, about being a civil war. I guess it would just be tribes fighting each other.
It is that.
Yeah,
because I was thinking about having to build a tribal period.
You could. I mean,
constitute.
You could build a tribal period if you wanted to, and put that before the Civil War period, before there's like an actual confederation of tribes into states, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, depending on what you guys make, I kind of already have an idea for an event to make for Kumo that I think will help flesh the past and future of Kumo out.
That's what I say. The more periods we put in, the more that we have to work with.
Yeah, exactly. The more playroom.
We can break down more stuff.
Say.
So, using so with the 5th ed rules, you could.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now. I'm typing up stuff while you talk.
Hey, yeah, could come with a full description and everything and all that fun stuff. But you can use short rests over and over and over again, long rests. And so if you were in a place like a dungeon or something, you can use the interruption, Orc's attack. But you were also talking about like changing how rest worked.
You could also, like your Orc's attack idea is basically just adding like a kind of just like adding a random encounter to like every single rest, like a percentage chance that a wandering monster comes in, or like your Orc's attack is kind of like a trap almost, which I find interesting. You're using a random encounter as a trap, basically. Like you could put into the rules if the players rest in one of these 5 rooms.
Yeah, like you could preload it.
Yeah,
so
that's a trap.
So that there's sensible, safe places to rest. But if they choose to rest in any of these other places, and that way you can kind of talk to the player if they're like, man, I feel like we weren't allowed to rest, and I'm not sure if that was just getting hosed. You can go, look, no, actually, it's pre-designed.
Pre-designed,
the concept was you're not supposed to rest.
Yeah, maybe you have them, if they're smart enough to RP it, like, okay, well, before you rest, I want to set up the alarm spell in this room. Then maybe you go, okay, because you did that, I'm going to lower the chance of this random encounter happening now because you did something in the game. You RP'd something that said that you're worried about getting attacked during your rest, like you don't feel safe.
You were mentioning a spell earlier, something with a rope.
A rope trick.
I don't. What is that spell?
It's a spell that allows you and 4 people to enter an extra dimensional space for 1 hour and take a short rest. Basically, you don't have to use it for a short rest, but that's what it's intended for. So I was saying,
like,
if
lasso yourself into safety.
Yeah, basically, and you go into extra dimensional space that nothing can get to, basically. So, like I was saying, if you did it where like the hit dice don't come back when you long rest, then you could do something for rope trick and make it more applicable to players. Be like, but rope trick also now adds a hit dice back when you rest. So you get a free hit dice healing if you use rope trick.
And then that increases the utility of the spell, like the use of utility spells, bringing them back into the role playing experience again.
Bringing them back in, making them more useful, and raising the stakes a little bit on like.
Okay. And are you going to be putting an event in there?
That is my event. I'm putting a scene underneath it. I'm nesting a dictated scene.
Where's the I missed it. Where's the period?
It's going to be under Civil War.
Kumo was abandoned by his parents. Okay.
I was at, yeah. Well, now I got to figure out a new time period for this.
Oh, because it's dictated? Okay, thank you.
Let's see.
The events are the blue cards, so we have a separation.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were doing...
Yeah, the upright brown cards are periods. The upright blue cards are scenes.
Scenes, yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely going to go ahead and say
thank you.
Includes both the tribal warring states and whatever structured states also warring during a long period of time.
Oh.
So instead of doing a period, you did an event and a scene, right?
Yeah, he's doing an event and a scene.
Ooh, not sure how to get that on top of that.
I'll fix that up for you.
All right, so basically, it's a dictated scene. It's actually, I think it's going to be initially it's a positive thing. The scene, because he doesn't know who his parents are. He doesn't know his lineage at this time. He may learn it later. Clearly, he learns it later. He may not know it actually until Tashal, but he is abandoned by his parents for what reason we're not entirely sure yet. But because of this, he begins training. Like it'd be a dictated scene of multiple scenes of clearly of him being trained by different tribal warlords. He becomes a renowned fighter, and he gains a following. He becomes a person of great influence and knowledge. And then, of course, later on, he gives birth to a son, Tashal, and that's when all this other crap happens. But this is actually a positive time in his life.
Are we allowed to, can I add to his scene, or are we not allowed
Absolutely.
to?
Absolutely.
Okay,
You just add a separate scene underneath it.
Well, the suggestion I had was that his mentor is Moto the Shadowheart, the person that gets assassinated down here later. So the person he learned his magic and his martial prowess from is the very guy that he has killed.
Nice.
Way down here.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, because Shadowheart, Komodo, Moto the Shadowheart is he's assassinated later on. Yeah, so apparently he was not the best person, or
So
at least at the time.
Maybe they make him like you know that movie what the fuck's that movie with Tony Jaa where he goes and trains under all the different masters.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is it called? Ong-Bak. In Ong-Bak 2, Tony Jaa goes and trains
yeah.
like 8 different martial arts masters. Like maybe Moto was his like main master and he sent him off to all these other tribes to like train so he become like a super badass or whatever, dude. So it's like his mentor is Moto.
I like that.
I like that. I like that.
Who's all creeping on our stuff?
Also, every single time we get the opportunity to build a scene or something, that's where you can add any number of side characters, items, locations, anything that you'd like to do. So that way there are more things to pivot off of in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't had any names for tribal warlords, but clearly since they're mentioned, you could go back and say this is one of those tribal warlords, this is another tribal warlord, stuff like that.
Yeah, we could give them
also, any holes that are in it, we can always tie later without a scene or a game.
Yeah. So
resolution, right? At the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, whoever's next.
That's gonna be Son of Pookie.
Okay.
You need some time?
Yeah, give me a couple seconds. Give me a little bit.
Cool. Okay. So D, what are your thoughts on the idea of the short rest, long rest, and the concept that it takes away the stakes and it makes it feel sometimes like the game doesn't have real consequences?
Well, I would say if you played Icewind Dale, then you will know that that's a brutal ass fucking module right now, dude. We're getting the shit massacred out of us left and right. Short rest or long rest be damned at this point.
So how many times have your characters died in the run?
Let's see. I lost one character. I almost lost a second character.
So there's no res. It's just
just straight. We're all low level. Icewind Dale does not have a lot of magic items in the area. There's just not a lot of high level people there.
Well, is that a second that's been readapted for 5th?
Yeah.
So second modules were the tough kind of.
Spoiler alert. We found a nautiloid, and I'm getting flashbacks of Expedition to Barrier Peaks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's about to get crazy. I think there are certain classes that are far more adept in combinations. Like, I don't know, a high Constitution barbarian, especially bear barbarian. They're just hard to kill.
I played one of those. They're ridiculous. Even at first level, it's like, good luck dropping me ever. That's actually how we made it through one of the playtests with the modules.
Yeah. And if you take like the durable feat, it's stupid because now you're like, I can't hit dice less than my Constitution modifier times 2. So if you get to like a 20, that's 10 automatic.
Can I add an event?
All right, guys.
Sure. No? Yes.
That's supposed to be monolithic, so I misspelled that.
I'll fix it.
Where are we at? I'm sorry.
Rise of the Monoliths.
Is that a period? Where am I looking?
Yeah, it's a period. Underneath, it's in between the. Ooh.
Yeah, I also had to broadcast the image out of the right cards.
Yeah, it's okay.
This right here, monolith.
I just realized I'm all like zoomed up real close in the camera. I'm like, man, it's gonna. I'm like, I feel a little comfortable. I'm like, ooh. Or we can see like my 14 chins right now. I might just start doing this.
Now you just have 12 cheeks.
Do you have a lot of cheeks? I have so many cheeks. Fuck it, I'm fat. We can't all be twinks.
Look, man, it's not bad. Just shrink your stomach in case of metabolism.
Yeah.
And then join the hell that is my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I get some of that IBS?
It's supposed to be Gojira at the end of that sentence, Steve, if you want to fix it.
I can get it. If you want, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got it.
Okay, I'm not touching shit then. That's how bad stuff happens and people get angry. Holy crap, corn's got big.
Yeah, no, sorry. Oh my god, I was all leaned forward. Sorry. Oops. Do we know who Lemon Juices is? I know who the other two are, but I don't know who Lemon Juices is.
I don't know, but hi. And who else is here? 'Cause I'm
We have
today.
Jay Chandler and Misa Dragon, a long-time viewer, first-time caller.
We have a way to call?
No.
Oh, Ed.
God, John.
Do what I can. Do what I
I
can.
do what I
Especially
can.
rampaging beasts. Sorry,
We'll make the card bigger.
gotta make the card bigger.
That's what I'm trying to do.
So you want to walk us through what it is while he's fixing the rest of it?
Okay, so after in the scene that we dictated, or in the scene that we role played out, and Kumo destroyed the Blade of Alatun and separated into 13 pieces, unbeknownst to the rest of the delegation, a loon, the spirit of a loon, attached herself to Kumo when he did this. So when he went back to his lands, using this newfound power he got from her, he used his magic to twist the savage minotaurs of the north into these colossal creatures and sent them to attack Gojira.
Oh wow, she's
Thus
pissed.
started this rise of the monolithics. So this
And
is a period,
what is the rise of the monolithic? This
It's in between the feudal
Yeah,
states and the imperial.
it's
yeah,
this
I know,
period
but
of time where
what defines this period?
these colossal monsters are attacking Gojira.
Oh, like basically, what was it? That one game where you had to go kill all the behemoths?
Kind of like Shadow of the Colossus, or
Shadow of
think
the Colossus,
kinda
thank you,
like,
that's it.
Okay, so it's not just the savage. Oh, he twists the savage minotaurs into giant, and you mean giant?
Giant. They're-
colossal-
Like we're talking colossal.
They range from large to colossal.
Holy
So
shit!
think kind of like Shadow of the Colossus, but really think Attack on Titan.
And he's
That's
like
what we're talking
at
about
the
here.
head of the.
Yeah.
Okay.
These giant minotaurs are now attacking Gojira.
Damn.
And there's your
Okay.
reason for Imperial Gojira.
It's like
There you go.
Gojira!
Gojira!
On the
It's a hell of a
Kumo
death
is
cry.
abandoned by his parents. Abandoned, as in we do know they purposefully left him behind because they didn't want him.
We're not
Or-
sure.
So it could be like they left behind for multiple reasons.
Yeah,
Or-
it
Could be like the parents were killed.
could be like he got Batmaned.
Okay.
For whatever reason, he never sees his parents. At least
Okay.
he doesn't for a long period of time. He never gets reconciliation on what happened.
Yeah, but he doesn't. But do we? As-
Yes. Well, yeah, we could, but he doesn't.
Do you want to lay something down? Like what that was?
I'm not sure yet.
He might decide to do that with his ending.
I'm
Oh.
Like, how do you correct spelling? Like, how do you go in there and like correct it?
You click on the arrow thing and you double the selector button on the top left,
Got it.
and then you double, sometimes quintuple click on it until it lets you fucking edit it.
I did not realize it had a spell check.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be all kinds of fucked up with this.
What was the first Shadow Heart's name? Moto.
Moto. Hello, Moto.
I'm assuming he's making another Shadow Heart.
Which is also the
'cause
name
He
of
just said the
Minotaur.
first.
also a name of one of the unicorn clans.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be honest with you. The one thing I really like about the long and short rest is the fact that it kind of took away you had to have a healer in your party at all times, which kind of opened up a lot of other things.
Yeah, that's the main thing I dislike about it, though. It basically makes a healer useless in 5th edition.
Yeah,
Everybody
But-
has their own heal system.
Basically.
yeah. But that's when you play something like a Grave Cleric who's like, yeah, I mean, I heal occasionally, but it's only like when you're already like really screwed up. And
Yes.
mostly it's just I'm here to like increase and crank out shitloads of damage.
That's why I don't. That's why I don't like it, because it also, like I was telling John earlier, to me it like lowers the stakes of the game. Like the game doesn't feel like when you're in combat, you don't feel the same as you feel in other games. Like you could die at any second.
Oh yeah, no,
When you're out of combat, you feel completely safe.
yeah.
So that's why if I was going to change anything about fifth, it would be that.
Like I said, one of the methods I would attempt to use is by not hosing the players, but like you said, you could put in these 3 rooms, you will have an encounter. Yeah. And what that allows is to create space. Like first off, as a creator, when you're laying out the dungeon, having an area for rest specifically, like some tempo, like where this dungeon breaks and turns into an underground cave, and then there's some kind of grove of magic mushroom shits or some shit, some little rest stop spot that you have to start thinking about in design and go, okay, combat, the short rest somewhere in here, meaning right around this area I should have a rest point somewhere in here.
Well, yeah, you don't want to put an encounter in every room, because that becomes really like, it doesn't make sense. Like, no dungeon has an encounter in every single room, because there's places that are going to be like, it's a place to eat, or it's a place to lounge, or it's a place to hoard treasure, or whatever. Like,
unless you're running like Tomb of Horrors or something.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like that.
It's all fucking
like a 5-room dungeon or something like that too. But also, like, the encounters that you find in certain places, like, there can be just strictly RP encounters, or there can be the skill challenge sets.
I've been trying to do that with some of my campaigns, where like, you don't have to fight everything that you encounter. You can just talk your way out of it.
And one of the interesting things to me was, okay, so remember that game? I think everybody here was part of it, actually, where there was a trap in the hall we found, and then in the next room there was a monster, and we lured the monster back through the hallway so that it could trip the trap.
Pookie wasn't on that one. That was the one I was running.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I was running.
Is that not just beyond that, the concept of thinking on the fly and going, oh, the monster's dead and this happens. Having encounters in your dungeon where traps are an active part of your combat, like whether that be just field obstruction, or whether it actually puts a timer on combat. Like, not only do you have to beat the opponent, but you have to beat the opponent before the walls close in and kill everybody. Or you can address the walls, but you had to get this many successes.
But nobody uses traps. Nobody uses traps like that anymore, dude. That's like old school D&D.
Yeah.
This new D&D, traps are like just a minor hindrance in most dungeons. They don't really matter.
We're actually attempting to figure out how to do that for the module, actually. How to incorporate more trap.
Like back in first edition, dude, they had traps like you step on a plate in the floor and your foot goes to the floor and a steel barb shoots through it and you can't raise your foot back up without chopping it off. Like shit like that. That's like real RP.
So I actually added a event during the Great Geisig, and essentially Kumo, having formed some form of an alliance with the Kenpo, is using the Kenpo to eliminate any contenders that are rising within the nation of Gojira that could possibly take his son's place in the Great Geisig, the big one.
That really does bring up the entire, why did he exile his father? Like, what happened? You know?
I have a question.
Yeah, because Steve set him up that he put his son to power by making sure that he got into the Great Geisig. At least that's what this event says to me.
Sure, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a move for that, yeah. That's what it looks like. I had just one quick question on clarification for something, if you don't mind. It might just be touchy, but everybody might even say it doesn't matter. But I was about to put my event because I already have it. I just couldn't put it until I figured out where everybody put what they were putting. But on this Black Dust and the thing below it, the Kumo gains the ability. Are those switched? Should it be Kumo gains the ability to influence Black Dust as the event, and then the actual picture event we see is the Black Dust?
Yeah, it's kind of saying It's just kind of a scene that shows why the black dust is coming.
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily put it in a chronological order.
The scene. No, the scene is showing why, and that's the black dust blighting the crops, right?
Yes.
The ability. But either way, it doesn't matter. There can be events where he first meets Alcatos or all these other things, but I know where mine.
Highlight the entire card with everything on top of it and move it all in one go. Stop moving individual pieces.
Don't do that.
We're at the bottom of the page now.
I see that.
So we're going to have to
make it bigger.
Make a larger page eventually. Okay, so I need an event. And originally, we don't have any more event cards. I just copy and paste the one below it.
Yep.
So there.
Oops.
Okay, now let's see if I can do text.
So, while we have all this dead space, I'm trying to think what we could talk about. You know, there's a part of me that it's a love-hate thing with the fact that you can play any race at level 1 now on 5th edition.
Dude, I'd be down with giving races like fucking racial levels. I think that would be fucking so dope. Like if you want
like how
to play
3rd edition did it.
Yeah, like if you want to play an orc, I'd give you you'd be a 20 strength from the bat, but you would have no character level. Like you'd just be an orc for the first level, dude. So like your abilities are just what they get, the relentless bonus of strength. Maybe I give you a little extra hit points or something. You know what I mean? Like you have to earn, you have to figure out like what you're going to do during almost like a 0 level if you play a certain races. I think that would be awesome, dude. And if I did that, I would take away the feat from human and just make them like the regular human in the book, where they're pretty balanced. Like they just get the stat increases and that's it. Because that's what you get a class because you played human. You know what I mean? Like that's what you get for playing human. Yeah, that's very, very first edition. Very like that's actually very like Redbox original D&D. That's what that is. Because in original D&D, you don't play a spellcaster, you play an elf.
Yeah,
and an elf is a spellcaster. Like that's the way it works. Like you play a dwarf.
Yeah, it's just a dwarf.
It's basically a fighter.
Man, this page is
that would be pretty cool, because then you could put in like half ogres or shit like that.
What was that, John?
Okay, so in my event, what happens is Kumo, who has been rising up with a following, and has kind of received a nod, I guess, from these different tribal leaders, kind of like a Temujin, right? Somebody where they're looking at him, eventually becoming Genghis Khan, because they go, this might be that kid from the stories. And so what he does is he believes he's the kid from the stories. And he goes out and leaves his position of power in order to fulfill the prophecy by going on a personal journey. Unbeknownst to him, that Alcatos is in his ear, actually kind of luring him to a specific area, putting him through trials before he gets there, but with an ultimate plan behind it.
Nice. So is that going to be dark or light?
I'm going to go with dark because he thinks like he at some point, this child who was doing really well thinks that he is this thing now with ego, and because of it, it leads to the beginning of his fall in the consummation with Alcatos.
Okay. You said consummation.
Alcatos has to get that black dust control somehow to him.
Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. Gojira's got a lot of not so happiness going on here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were the feudal warring states a nice period of time? What do you mean? Me and my entire family have to die. Well, you see, me and that guy have to go to war for that piece of land over there because there's a bridge on it. And so we're going to fight for the next 60 years over it.
All right. So now I have to pick a legacy, huh?
No.
You have
your
first round.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I have
John,
one more
legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more scene.
So what's up on this, Steve? What are your inputs so far for the night on this?
On this?
The fifth ed discussions.
I mean, I've run a considerable amount of 5th edition. The power creep in the game, I know this isn't immediately addressing what you've been talking about, but the power creep after about 10th level gets really ridiculous anyways. And so the only time I've really felt like I could like really potentially kill my players is when I fat stack encounters either to counteract certain abilities that they already have, or you're in those early levels where death is highly possible. Like 1 through 3 is where the most kills I've had in 5th edition.
First through third, right?
Yeah,
Like
first through third.
Once you hit that 4th level plateau, you're kind of safe from then on. Feet, basically.
Pretty much, once you get into 4th level, you're in the clear pretty much almost up until about 12th level.
That's hilarious because most games I play never get past 4th or 5th level. Like that I'm a player, and I don't think I've ever actually played a game where there's a character that I'm like, oh, it's sort of that hunter. That's that character I played more sessions with than anything else.
I think the only game.
And 1 to 3, I'm still like, you could die more often in this game. This is a bit too safe for me.
I was gonna say, I think 1st edition might be the only edition where there is no power creep because, like, you could die. It's almost there's so many monsters in 1st edition that can kill you super easily, dude. And there's so much save versus death shit, and so much shit that doesn't give you a save.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what level you are. Really, you can die to almost everything.
And on the topic of resting and stuff, as a player, I immensely enjoy the fact that a spellcaster now has cantrips that are pretty much their bang away spells. But having played previous editions, I also really enjoyed I enjoyed that time period from the DM standpoint, at least, where your wizard is well, not just your wizard, your spellcasters, but your wizards more specifically than most others. They have a limited number of spells before they have to fall back on wands and other things. And I think that the cantrip being a bang away spell that upgrades every 5 levels to stay relevant really kind of puts the spellcasters in a position where they don't really care about wands and scrolls. Honestly, I know in 3rd edition it was a big groan whenever you got a scroll too, but at least almost every time I put out scrolls in 3rd edition, at some point down the road, while the party's in like a butt clinch kind of moment where you're out of spells, but you're still deep in the fight, everyone's like, oh, thank God we had those 5 freaking fireballs. Well, fireball would be pretty, but those 5 spell scrolls that actually were combat spells.
Yeah, thank God we had Necklace of Fireballs that we kept.
Or something like that. And in 5th edition, man, I'm telling you, if an item just does spells, unless it's a healing spell, players really don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, cantrips aren't balanced, full stop, and no one can really argue that. They're just overpowered as shit. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down between Firebolt and fucking Eldritch Blast. Those two are gross.
I mean, I would argue any attack cantrip is more powerful than any weapon save for magical weapons, which is why they're too powerful. Like, basically, every cantrip is a whole class feature from a warlock where you can use your charisma to attack. Every cantrip, you can use your highest spell stat to attack. It's super broken, dude. Like, it comparatively to everything else in the game, to me, it's super unbalanced. The fact that a wizard can deal the same damage as a fighter doesn't make any sense. Like, not for free.
At least not at that
You know
low
what I'm
level.
Well,
on the curve.
No, from any level. It's not. It'd be like
Well, like you were saying in first ed, right? The XP you need to gain as a wizard is so much higher.
Well,
so then when they can blow the fuck out of a room at level 8 or something, it's like,
well, that's the
earned it by
difference.
making it that far.
Well, that's the difference. See, in first ed, there's no such thing as a cantrip. Like every spell is a resource that can be used a finite amount of times, which is why it's balanced. A cantrip is basically saying I have a spell I can use an infinite amount of times. It's too powerful. I mean, it's really honestly, it's too powerful.
Well, did they?
In 3.5, the cantrips are not as powerful as they are.
Well, they nerfed the combat ones. The non-combat ones are still technically broken if you have. Okay, they're not broken, but in the RP situation,
No,
it
they
will
are.
allow a strong role player to like break a semi-decent to weak DM in
They're-
half.
They're broken, dude. Like minor illusion in 5th edition is insanely broken from first level. You can create walls with it. It's insanely broken by comparison to like anything else you can do at first level with any other character, because you can do it an infinite amount of times with no resources. And it has no concentration. Right, Steve? You would agree, right? Like making wooden walls in front of me that block line of sight with minor illusion is insanely broken by comparison to Firebolt or any other cantrip. But the difference, I think, with the cantrips is because they raise in damage every 5 levels, basically the only way you could balance that against the fighter, per se, even though the fighter gets more attacks, is if you increase the fighter's base damage with weapons. That's what it's doing, except that the mages get it for free. Do you see what I mean? It's not balanced at all. It's just not. Like, even people who use ranged weapons who aren't mages have a finite amount of ammunition.
I think the thing for 5th was
It's not
the
balanced.
balance comes in the CR balance, and I think actually, like that's talking with Steve. Like there is a decent CR balance there. You just can't use the math they use when you start adding more than one creature.
I mean, I guess.
You ready, Corinth?
I think the party composition is more the CR balance, honestly.
Your mic's not on. If you are ready. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, you're good. I just like the spell Firebolt, dude. It literally says in the description that you can set things on fire with it.
Nope. Still no.
Right, Steve? So they gave you in the description like a way to use it that could be tremendously broken.
Oh, I accidentally hit that button. Sorry.
There we go.
We're done.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
My bad.
They're
I
saying
was
it's
like,
a
what the fuck? All right. So in the time of the Iron Vice period, I made an event after Komodo Shadowheart leads the Shadowheart clan against the Iron Vice. During this time, Tashal exiles Kumo from Gojira. And he ceremoniously, the actual scene that's nested with that is, he ceremoniously scars Kumo in the main court in front of his followers and exiles him from the land of Gojira. Kumo swears revenge and makes alliances outside of Gojira.
So what you're saying is he cuts off his top scale.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a top knot, get it? So he cuts off his top scale.
That's not at all where I thought you were going with that. I was just like,
did, though,
is that like a foreskin joke? Like, what are we talking about?
It's like the way you dishonor a samurai if you cut off his top knot.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the worst thing you can do to him.
Is so that opens the door for
Frills.
yeah.
Is that a dark or light event?
Oh, the exile. It's dark because that's really what begins the Iron Vice.
See, what's interesting though is he does it for good reason because Kumo is clearly a piece of shit. So, like, how are we gonna? I mean, I guess we could reconcile with an event. Why it's considered bad?
It's only considered bad because Tashal is not very good at this time period.
Maybe to the people, they think that Kumo is great, so that's why it's considered like a bad point in history.
He does it. What about this though? How about this for an arc? Right, because this would run through. Are we at this point in resolution?
No, we are in legacy.
We're in a turn. Yeah, we're still in legacy.
Do you want me to wait to present this idea into resolution?
You're the one who has to pick the legacy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can I just spit the idea out first then, so I don't forget it?
Sure. You mean resolution from the last round the one we just finished? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All I'm thinking, and this is just an idea to roll around for a second. So what if? Okay, so Kumo, when he's first rising up after the parents are dead, right? If we look over there, that's him being trained by the warlords is good. It's a light colored thing.
Yeah.
So the idea being then that like he actually was going to be a good leader. He was going to be a good person. He was trained by all these wise and like the people who did survive through this crap. But
Alcatraz fucked him up.
exactly. And then because of the guilt plus all the other shit that comes with the power and the negative energy use, he became a dick. And he thought to himself, well, the only way I can make sure that it's good is if my son becomes the leader. So I can rig the Geisig to make that happen so that I can still be good for all of Gojira and like he was when he was originally going up.
Well, he probably thought he was good the whole time.
This
Honestly,
sounds like a really interesting standpoint for your legacy, actually.
Then his court turns his son, like not his court, his son's court turns him against him and moves him out. And when he gets exiled, he begins to plot his revenge against all of Gojira for abandoning him. He comes back, and when he comes back, well, actually, he'd have to go good again, right? So he goes good after the exile, but no, but because he comes back at the end here with savage rampaging minotaurs. So maybe after he exiles, he loses the last shred of wanting to be good.
Well, I threw in the Alatoon thing so we could decide if it's him doing this or if it's Alatoon doing this. Because I said that she attached herself to him when he destroyed the sword.
So maybe
to leave that open, whether you guys want to make it him or her. You know?
So maybe he's at peace after the exile. That's why when he comes back from exile during the 13 period, like that scene that we had where they with the sword and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe he actually was in a good spot, but then he goes off to find his own thing, and then fucking Alatoon.
What about this pitch, John? Bear with me for a second. So going with what you said, that he thinks he's the hero, right? What if the original prophecy says that the hero that will save Gojira rises from a dark father, and he always thought the dark father was Moto.
Yeah.
And then he finds out after Alcatos corrupts him that he's actually the dark father. So he does all this to ensure that one day his son will rise to be the thing that saves Gojira. So he knowingly does these vile things because he thinks it's his destiny to do them.
Yeah, and I was thinking it could either be kind of like Oedipus Rex, where it's this like self-fulfilled, like Oedipus travels.
Yeah, but even more
realizing
what if he
end up killing his own father?
Well, Tishal does it maybe.
Father is.
That's true too. So yeah, so the whole time he's traveling, he thinks that whoever's real father is, whether he thinks it's Moto or whoever, he thinks that that's the dark father. And then after Alcatos, he realizes, like, oh no, it's me. So now I can choose to not fulfill the prophecy and do the right thing, or I can choose to fulfill the prophecy and continue along this path.
I have a question, because I can do something to add to this now with my legacy. Because we have Kumo is abandoned by his parents here, could I make my legacy Kumo's father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what I can do is I can create a scene somewhere during the Great Geisig period or near the end of the Civil War where Kumo kills his own father. Because some part of the prophecy talked about how, or do you get what I'm saying? Like pre-setting up the prophecy to where we figure out what needs to be fulfilled wrongly.
Did you see that?
Tracks it down and fills it.
Did you see what I wrote?
What?
Alcatos is Kumo's father.
What, the
genie?
The genie?
Yeah.
He's half genie?
Yeah, he's like a demigod. Just like Tishal is supposed to be.
So it's like the genie blood mixed with
lizard folk blood?
So we could go that route and then say that's supernatural, right? That's where he gets his. But then Tishal is actually the prophesized because he actually has a Chroma's blood, but from his mother's side, a character we haven't created yet.
Yeah, he's like a
Jinn and a Chroma.
Well, he's like living balance. Like he has good energy in him and he has vile evil energy in him. Like he's both.
Whereas Kumo is not. And so now we have a whole love line that's got to happen somewhere between Kumo and a very lovely, good person with a Chroma blood. A Padme, if you will.
So have you decided where you're going to put this event?
Should it be he kills the father, or is that a bit too can? Can we take that and then make it something?
Well, then if he does, that means he kills Akatos.
Or thinks he kills Alcatos,
Or
or
at least
kills a
thinks he
form of Alcatos,
He
whatever.
goes to a forest that fucks with your head mentally, and he kills the representation of Alcatos in a dark tree that's been hollowed out.
If that's what you want to put.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I mean,
it's
go for it.
it's your story, bro.
Yeah, no, that was me making fun of the Star
There
Wars.
could be no light without darkness. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. No
So-
good without evil.
So the idea would be then, what event can we do that's like the death of or something in the prophecy? That's what I want to do. I wanted something in the prophecy. So let me. You guys talk and I'll think. How about that? That's what we should have been doing a half minute ago,
All
probably.
right, sounds good.
So
I don't know. Why don't you put the prophecy during the
Split
of the Gojiran Empire?
Oh, yeah.
Like literally put it at the book open.
You can put it at the book open, sure.
Yeah.
Before they even split. Maybe the splitting of the horde into separate things is part of that prophecy.
Okay.
I'm trying to get
gonna
some
make room.
player involvement here and like get some people chatting up in our chat groups. I'm gonna have to message Joe Sensei and be like, "Where the hell have you been? You have not been here like the last 2 weeks. It's been quiet."
Like, do you think it would nerf cantrips too hard, Steve, if you gave them like you can only use your cantrips a number of times per day equal to like your intelligence modifier plus a number or something?
Plus, you're like level.
Yeah, so that it wasn't so crazy, like where you can just spam firebolts and burn down whole cities because it actually.
Yeah, I mean, I literally spammed Firebolt like
Yeah,
a couple sessions
great.
ago and burned down a ferry.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's like it's way too powerful for an effect. That if it was based on an actual like resource being spent like a spell slot, it wouldn't be so bad. Like original cantrips, they weren't
I can
spell
have-
slots, weren't that powerful.
I can event and sorry. I can event.
Yes, you
No.
can nest.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
What do you think, Steve? You think that would be too nerfy?
I think for the air quotes balance, which there really isn't much balance,
There
but
isn't
for
much.
the air quotes balance, it probably would not be great. But
I don't think it would be a problem except for like warlocks who don't get many spell slots. I don't think you should nerf their cantrips because literally they just Eldritch Blast everything. That's all they do.
Well, that's why it's so
I'm
cheap.
gonna be honest with
And
you.
not
The
balanced.
warlock class as a whole, honestly, I don't like the way they have it in 5th edition.
Yeah, we've discussed that before. I mean, you kind of feel like me, Steve, right? Like it should be a full 9-level class. It should be just like mage or druid or anything else.
Yeah,
So-
like the idea they had for it back in the day was an entirely different animal than what we got now.
Well, 3.5, it's a little more powerful actually than it is in 5th edition.
I think so, yeah.
They don't get 9th level spells, but they get so much other shit. It's crazy, dude. Like,
Yeah, like the ability, like they use magic device and they're just like you can grab any wand you want and start whooping ass with it. Yeah, it's
or yes,
badass.
and their invocations can be used endlessly. There's like no limit on how many times they can use them. So a lot of them are really powerful.
Hey, John, instead of just writing the Great Prophecy, like, can you attach it to someone or something so that if we put another prophecy in, it's not, hey, we have 20 great prophecies.
Or
This
do you
was
mean
the
the prophecy
great one?
from this,
It's the great one.
from this one over here, right? Where Corinth added prophecy as something that needed to happen. Talk about that prophecy.
Yeah, that prophecy.
Well, all prophecies that are made is that prophecy, right?
Well,
Actually,
you could
what
make
I'm doing is I'm creating a sublay for us to make real and fake ones about anybody throughout this entire bookend. It's the idea, and I don't have the scene yet, but here's the event. Or at least the conceptualization of the event. Something happens. Something of great import in representation to the empire from before this, the Gojiran, not the Gojiran Empire, but the
horde.
Horde, breaks, and they have divination here, as in a lot of spots. What I imagine is if you don't have magic, any magic that you have, you're gonna have as much as you can of. So I'm imagining there's a lot of different paths to divination. And in each of these paths, like great priests in this sect of a religion, in that sect of a religion, plus in the kami, plus in the person who's throwing bones, plus in this, are all getting this prophecy sent to them. And in this event, this first section of pieces come out from all these people where they're like, this prophecy been laid down. And the prophecy gets followed up by an event immediately afterwards that then represents that the horde will be split. And part of that prophecy says that the only way that the people of Gojira will survive, or the people of the empire, the horde will survive, is if they split the country up, which is what starts the first person who like purposefully split it up to like try to maintain.
So people are just trying to like save their own ass
You
with
said
self-fulfilling prophecies.
there can be, and then, but the ones that were laid out were actually a real prophecy that relate to Kumo and to Shaw.
So how about I have an idea here, just to throw at you. The horde was a large like conglomerate group. There were outside races, but most of the races within the horde were scaled of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And then we call it the Seven Nation Army, like as a joke, but that could be actually what they were. I feel like seven major races.
I was thinking that maybe the diviners, the divination based, almost like a caste within the horde. If you give them a name, I was thinking something like scale sages, scale readers, something like that. And then as your event, you can say that scale sages across the shattered horde all begin to cast stones. Speaking of a dark father, and
That would be a scene that I might nest under this broad.
I thought that's what you were trying to do.
No, this is an event, and so like I said, it's told in pieces and spread to the land. So this is actually happening in a lot of places all over.
Oh yeah, but remember, I'm not talking about Gojira. I'm talking about the horde, which is the entire continent.
Yeah.
And so to simplify or even kind of create a cast within what the horde was before it breaks up.
Or should this be at the beginning of the splitting of the horde? Or would this be at the end of the book open? Or are we just going to say this is here at the book open, but really is like right before the splitting of the horde?
It's probably like the opening scene.
Yeah.
It's like the opening thing that happens.
Yeah. So this is the opening event, is that this prophecy happens all over. And then when I create the scene, I'm actually going to create a scene with characters and dictate that what happens. But
sure.
I figured you guys could talk again for that one.
So,
but I like scale sages.
Yeah,
I do. Sounds pretty hot. So, let's see. Have you guys? Have any of y'all played the new Baldur's Gate yet? I saw the
Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I played it.
It's
in like
anything
like
but the
alpha.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is anything but the alpha out yet?
Yeah,
no.
You can play through the first 4 levels.
But you're gonna lose your character once the game comes out. Like
it's just like it's like alpha testing for the game, basically.
Yeah. How much does it cost?
Full price of the game.
Full price.
Whatever. I mean, I paid for it because I'm going to play it when it comes out, but
$70-$80, something like that, probably.
It's like it's $60. It's $49.99. Yeah.
Oh, that ain't bad.
I mean, it's okay, dude. There's a lot of flaws in the alpha, like a shit ton of them. Like basically all the character interactions, they all hate you no matter what you do. Shit like that. Shit doesn't make any sense. They're a long way from having that game done, dude. Like they're not even close. If that alpha's any indication, it's literally only like 5 hours of gameplay, really.
I know. I had a friend of mine who didn't realize he was only going to get the 4th level, and he was like,
"Oh yeah,
what the hell's wrong with this shit?"
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like I knew it was going to be like it wasn't going to be the full game, but I thought we'd at least get to 2 attacks a round. But no, you don't. You get to 4 attacks. They don't have.
Is there any particular Dungeons and Dragons game you really enjoyed more than others?
The original Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate.
I really enjoyed Planescape Torment.
I mean, everybody says Planescape because it's like the go-to.
I enjoyed the Runes of Mr. Nor. It was a lot of fun.
The original Icewind Dale is good. There was. Do you remember that?
If you can parse through the. Say what?
The Diablo 2 style Baldur's Gate game, which was action adventure, where you.
No, I didn't play that one.
It was called Dark Alliance.
Oh yeah, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Okay,
Pretty good game.
I remember hearing about it.
The old
Um,
red box games from SSI, if you can parse through the difficult to use user interface, were really good dungeon crawlers.
I mean, yeah, but they're difficult to even dungeon crawl through. Like
Okay.
sometimes the walls get stuck and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll go left on a wall and it'll make you go right and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are fun though. They feel very D&D-ish.
I
What do you
loved Alcadin. That was a fun one. I got those boxes from consignment shops with those old ones. Okay, so I have a scene, but not really, because as I'm building it, I realized that for me to actually build a scene as a scene, it would take forever. So I'd rather just build it in concert. So,
Okay.
for me, the idea would be one of two things that are floating. The first one is the idea that we have this scale sphere.
Can we just role play this out? Let's RP this. Let's do it.
All right, I'll start writing out fucking NPCs on my trusty Gojira NPC chart.
Want to do it, John? You
Was
said
it? Yeah,
scene?
I'm down. Is it
Well,
seer scale, Steve? Or is-
Scale seers?
Scale Seer.
Scale Sage or Scale Seer, something like that.
I think Scaled Sage.
Wait, what do you call the iris of like a lizard's eye? Doesn't it have a different name for like the way their iris is shaped? Because it's shaped differently. That should be what.
Hold
they
on.
call
I'm that close to a lizard. I hope I'm not in Jurassic Park.
Hold on, reptilian what?
the
Iris.
The iris.
It's called a cloaca.
Isn't that the bird ass pussy?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with you guys.
Wait, it's all one hole.
They go out of one hole, bro.
Everything.
It's nature.
Uh,
It's evolution.
It's called efficiency. When you're trying to fly, you need to keep
AKA
weight.
AKA the
You know what just fucked me up is I'm like looking at this shit up on like
How you type
wikis and stuff, and it said eye sphincter, and I was like, oh my god,
It says eye sphincter.
eye sphincter? Yes. dude.
iris sphincter, yeah,
It's an iris sphincter, yes.
I rock.
yeah. It's called the pineal eye, the third eye.
How about the pineal? The pineal.
Pineal.
Yeah, that's something different though, right?
It's the third eye. It's
The
found on the dorsal midline of some.
It exists in the human body. But yeah, the
It's
pineal
the sensory organ is connected to the central nervous system
or
and the
just
pineal
scales
gland.
is fine. I mean, I just thought it could be a
That's
cool.
the thing that drops DMT right before you die, right? No?
It actually has to do with like hormone production, so that's probably not what we're looking for.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Just the scale
So-
sage, bro. Or the
Scale
pink-
sage.
we
Scale
call-
sage.
You call them pink
So,
stick if you want. I mean, I'm down.
Iris sphincter.
I'm gonna pitch two ideas. You guys pick which one of the two we do.
All right.
Okay. The
pitch.
first idea is this. We've got one scale sage. It's in a small village somewhere. We're doing the perspective of the scale sage, finding out this information at this village, sending somebody off, whatever. Small scale rural. The other scene I have an idea of is that more like an imperial court where you have more than one diviner and they're all kind of like in a hurry, like, oh shit, this is saying this, that like what you got all in an imperial kind of setting. So which one?
I mean, I had an idea for remember how you guys wanted a reason why that began the prophecy, that began them looking for this thing? What if, like, the reason they split up is because, like, all of the firstborn children from the horde are dying. So everyone's, like, first child dies, period. Like, no matter what magic is used, no matter how they're birthed, it doesn't matter if they die. So because of that, they start freaking out, and they think the only way that they can have children, again, and increase their population is if they split up. So maybe this scene is what dictates that to them? No? Maybe?
Well, what I was thinking is whatever the image is, it could be. I thought you said four.
You have to ask a question in the scene. What's the question we're asking?
Oh, what's the question? What is the prophecy? Exactly? That's the question, right?
Well, I was thinking. It has to be something that's not.
For you to do what you're trying to do, a dictated scene just lets you tell us some shit. Whereas if we're playing the scene, we're trying to answer a question.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. The question, if the question is the prophecy, then we will have it as soon as the prophecy scene is done. If the question is something along the lines of like, how does the current leadership respond to the prophecy? Well, I guess that'll kind of give us our setting as well. Just the question.
So what's the question you want answered, John?
Yeah.
It's your scene.
I could probably snake something, but I'll just go with what is the prophecy. or what happens
See,
to
I
force fulfill the prophecy?
Who's behind the prophecy?
I was
I
going to
love-
make it real divine reality.
What were you gonna say, Steve? I was waiting for you to say something.
I don't know. He's far as fuck back though.
Yeah.
I was going to say that the question of how the leaders address the prophecy or how they react to the prophecy, I kind of like that question.
Yeah.
So now we
Well,
got to figure out who
So
some of the leaders are.
it leaves it there that the question has definitely already. I mean, the prophecy's there. We understand what the prophecy is.
So
At that point, you present a handful of characters.
yeah, I have a question that I need answered, and then I can get you the first couple characters on that list.
Where's the setting taking place?
What's happening in the Khanate in Dawn of Worlds at this point in time? At the end of the Empire, like, do they have a Khan? Is that Scar?
Well, no, remember? Okay, so the catastrophe happened, so shit went south.
So there is no actual Khanate structure right now, or is there?
There is, but
No,
there's no Khan though anymore, right?
No,
there's no Khan because Skarn was the Khan. Then Sento was the
Sento.
interim Khan, and then Sento disappeared because he went to hold the sundown.
So actually, even before the end of the world, they didn't have a Khan for many, many years, dude. They were just they were loosely kind of grouped together.
I'm going to go ahead and say that then I have an idea that I'm going to present. And if you guys say yes, then that's where I'm going to pull at least a couple of my characters from.
okay.
We were already talking about using the Imperial City area, the temple,
Yeah.
like this
Yep.
shared area for since there is no Khanate. What if like in China there were imperial eunuch system, right? So there was imperial bureaucrats that ran the Khanate shit on, and they were the ones left over logistically kind of controlling things, and so they were in a way like governors, but since nobody was willing to touch them at all, nobody else was willing to touch them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whoever touched them first would be open game for anybody who wanted to come fuck them up. So they just were
So basically, there was a power vacuum, and some really powerful people took it and took spots.
yeah, and then they kind of created this like centralized system, and that's the only thing that kind of kept the very decentralized Khanate together.
And from this concept of the centralized system comes the splitting of the Horde into four separate systems, right? Four separate tribes or nations.
Yeah,
I
nations.
like this idea. So yeah, so this is like the impetus of the idea of these nations is they go to the temple and they divide the power between themselves loosely, I guess, right?
Mhm.
So
Could
yeah.
the prophecy have come directly from this action? Then is that what you want to do? Like it's because they did this?
Yeah, what I was thinking is the split is what proves the
First part of the
prophecy
prophecy.
is true, but also
Pause real quick. Can you
happens-
not cuss in stream chat? Because I got an auto mod message because I said the word bitches.
Oh, I'm pretty sure this is not for children.
I mean, I see you bitches, and I could eat dicks, and it showed up.
It just freaking blitzed my shit.
But see, this is just because Facebook is censoring you, bro.
Oh my god. So bullshit.
So-
Anyways, sorry.
Didn't we talk about George Carlin's like 7 things?
I know. Piss shit, bitch, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it didn't give you the mod then. Okay.
No. On the chatting type, I'm typing.
Oh,
I put
oh.
bitches.
So
Bullshit.
that's crazy that you could cuss out loud, but you being one of
It
the
doesn't back to the stream.
So
Sorry.
the idea for me is that these Imperials or bureaucrats got the prophecy through the diviner, bone thrower, scale sages, and what it did was like it's some kind of image of like a plate or some kind of traditional thing that they've had for a long time that represented like the power of the Khanate splitting, cracking, breaking into 4, and that was read as this prophecy that said that the Khanate has to be split into 4 in order to
The
be
horde
saved.
has to be this broken.
Yeah, the horde has to be split into 4 to be saved. And yeah, I guess it'll be in that Forbidden Palace area. And that
Okay.
makes me have a question too, then, which is like, so later in like the Gojiran, like let's say during the Civil War and during the Great Geisig and during the time of the Iron Vice, each of these times that imperial area still exists. Those bureaucratic systems still exist. So they could be like the Iron Bank in Game of Thrones, for instance.
Yeah.
Like they're backing players in the Civil War. They're putting pressure on the emperors of these nation states to be like, well, no, you got to make sure you're in concert with all of this still.
What if we make them? What if we just straight rip the Vatican? We just make them a religious organization, and that's why they're like outside of normal law and stuff like that. Why they're not fucked.
So they could be like Shinto, Buddhism,
like Shaolin monks, basically, dude. That's why nobody fucks them. But they're dirty motherfuckers, and they've been putting their fingers and everything the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So like,
them for advice, they turn
the
around.
one of the reasons that Moto the Shadowheart and his lineage is able to gain power even is the understanding that they know that these people that other people fair game with are as dirty and shady as any ninja clan ever could be. Like,
maybe they're not just comprised of people from the Horde. Since they're like the Vatican, maybe people from other nations can join this Vatican. So you have
that's when you can get the whisper play in and the bellows play.
You have our Animorphs. So there's some Animorphs there, dude. There's a Dampier representative. Like there's people living in this Vatican city, this Vatican temples that are immune while they're in here. And that's how you can, like, it doesn't just have to be them affecting Gojira. It could be other people influencing it too.
Okay.
That explains the whole Alcatos angle too. Like maybe other powerful things are in here fucking with shit. I do like the idea of all emerging from there though, because it kind of, we already baked it in, so it makes sense the prophecy would come out of there. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So, John, who's all going to be in this scene?
Okay.
And
so,
what is the question of the scene once again?
What is the question of the scene?
What is the scene supposed? What question is the scene supposed to answer?
What?
I mean, we already know they split the Horde, so what's the question?
What?
It's like, fuck!
What is the problem?
You know what? I'm not going to nest. I just had this event. If anybody ever wants to put a scene on there,
I got
okay.
We just spent like 20 minutes here to go.
I just say everything and then you forgot the main thing.
No, I've got the bureaucrats. Like, I'm just okay. So now we know that they're imperial bureaucrats. We're an imperial city, so
you got to.
I can say
we need Act 1.
How do Horde leaders react to the prophecy?
There you go. That's
the bureaucrats are breaking up the Horde. No, the bureaucrats are breaking up the Horde. How are the leaders? You're going to give us 4 leaders or 2 leaders, people that we haven't created yet, that you are now going to create.
Okay. Can somebody give me the name of whatever country exists for the old confolk?
Yes.
It was just a Horde.
No, the new.
It was a lizard folk nation. That's what it was.
Give me just a second. I'll grab it for you.
Where the primals are from, right? The big fucking lizard folk.
Oh, the Protos. Yeah.
Give me just a second. I'm going. Okay, you have. Oh God, the Hap Kavgud Skarn, which means the sons of Skarn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Evergrove, Shandor, and Gojira. And then, of course, the one nation that we always forget because it's not actually connected to the temple is the
3 cuts, right?
The troglodytes, the Haria.
The 3 cuts.
The 3 cuts.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the 3 cuts?
It's the
troglodytes.
They built their cities in that giant scar in the ground from the death ring.
Yeah, but I thought that they were. Oh, they still existed.
Yeah,
that would be a good one to put down because they didn't go the same way.
If you didn't add them, I was adding them to the scene. So
yeah, okay, well, we'll get the opportunity then.
I mean, if this was Asia Minor, right? This is like China, Korea, Japan. I guess the Mongols are the steppe.
Mongolia, the steppe, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Indian.
Arabs in there, a little bit Indian. Yeah, the Indian. I was gonna say.
I mean, like the Knoll Giants. Imagine the Indians. They come in on elephants.
I can totally see that, dude. Yeah,
Knoll Giants.
They're basically what we call it. So, God, God damn, dude, why am I forgetting this? The ones that Alexander conquered, the Byzantine Empire.
So I have the two characters.
All right.
One is Turok Draknar of the Sons of COVID.
All right, spell that for me.
Taraq.
Hold on. Taraq. All right.
RAR.
Sorry that I broke up. TAR. Okay, Taraka, then what?
DRARKNAR.
All right, and he is a who?
He's from the Sons of. He is.
He's a primal, huh?
He's a He's
Yes.
primal who has power in his land, who has consolidated power in his land, and controls the pleasure city at this point in time in history.
Okay. All right. Who else you got?
And the other one is the warlord for the ruler of what is now Gojira's area, or a good chunk of it, a large percentage of it. But he is the general warlord named Toyotarama. And that's it. Warlord.
How do you spell that?
TOYOTORAMA.
All right. So
Those are my two characters. So Turok is here on invitation, and Warlord Toyotarama is in here on invitation because the bureaucrats sent out messengers to those with the most amount of power in the land to talk about consolidation and in consolidation and creating more like a city state that would be networked with these things as opposed to one large bulky country.
So these two characters have to be in the scene taken by somebody, right? That's what they represent.
yes.
Okay.
So who gets to pick first?
You do.
To you.
Oh, I want to take Tarok.
No, you can also make two. It's up to you. So Turok, you want
Yeah, I want Tarok.
primal, or primal, right?
Yep.
Well,
So
sorry.
then son of Pookie.
I'm gonna make a character named. You ready for this? Corinth.
Yes.
Corinth. I mean, I just doxed you. The character's name is Nashur. 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 Gila is his last name. Gila, and he represents the spice merchants. He's a null giant who represents the spice merchants from the west. So kind of like our version of the Byzantines.
Also, he's a what kind of giant? Null giant?
A null giant, yep. Not a life giant. He's an actual null giant.
Null giant, nice.
Bro.
And he represents like a consortium of these null giants that run the spice business.
I love his name for two reasons. The Gila one.
Gila, bro.
Not being the lizard though, being the null giant.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, don't you mean it's Gila? They're like, no, Gila,
Oh, Gila.
No.
Fucker.
not Gila.
And then the other one is the first name, not sure. It just made me think of Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Wait, not sure. Not sure. No, damn it.
And he's here to represent this consortium because he wants to get his fingers into Gojira and into these lands. He wants to set up trade for his spice mines.
Spice mines.
So, like,
The spice must flow.
my assumption is that there's this bureaucratic group in the middle. That would mean that, like, the only reason this is even considered a country, like the Nullrog understands he's technically in the same country as the Turok, but at the same time, there's nothing but war within the borders. But they can call themselves a country because nobody else is allowed to come in and attack them. You know, almost like medieval ages.
And the reason they have like a foothold is because, you know, they can salt meats and they can help crops grow and shit like that. So they're like important to keeping all these members of the Horde that are left alive. So that's why he's like given audience here.
All right, Steve, who are you going to be?
I am bringing Yogan Susakib. I'll put it in chat here for you. And he is one of the magma sages of the troglodytes. And he is here mostly to try and feel out what everyone else is doing, because since the loss of leadership within the Horde, there has been a growing distaste for his own kind, and that's not the troglodytes, but those who can actually wield magic.
Yeah.
As he is one of the essentially almost like a fire-based Shugenja.
And
Yep.
the scar didn't fall apart as well as, or as much as everything else did, right? From my understanding so far in Dawn of Worlds, they actually did pretty good.
The
together.
Scar has held together quite well, but there is a growing concern within Troglodyte society because they still embrace magic while the rest of the Horde seems to be starting to look at anyone who casts any sort of magic with distrust.
They were kind of the first ones to centralize too and actually build up fortifications. Like none of the other members of the Horde did that. So yeah, as far as tribes go, they're probably the most advanced nation, air quotes, out of all the rest of them. I mean, I'd say easily. Actually, they probably have a form of government. They probably have a hierarchy.
They have stable trade between their own nation, of their own borders.
Defenses because they have magic. So like, and they're in a giant fucking canyon crevice thing that's built up.
Yeah, they probably don't have raiders coming into their community. They probably don't.
They're probably pretty feared, actually. The rest of the Horde probably rely on them to keep big bad things coming up from the south away from them at this point.
All right. So that leaves you with Tomo, huh? Toyo.
Yeah, you gotta play Toyo, bro.
I'm playing Toyo Torama. Toyo Torama.
Yeah. How y'all liking all these fucking names? So.
You can just say Toyo. I just realized that if there was an A, so it's Toyoto.
Well, there's Toyo tires.
Toyoto, Rama.
Should make this motherfucker a rubber merchant, bro. That's all he does is spin wheels, bro. All day.
All day.
All day, baby.
For some reason, it seems appropriate, though, for a dragon to be next to a rubber tree plant.
Bro, and it could be like our version of Vietnam. He's like from deep within the motherfucking jungle, son. It's rubber trees all day.
That's what he owns. It's just as bad as the spice mines.
Yeah.
It's
He
not
makes containers for the spice.
It's not pretty for the daily workers.
All right.
No.
So set the scene for us, John.
Shit's turning into episode 1 quickly. It's about trade routes and fucking bureaucracy.
Dusk
podcast ever.
The dusk of a red sun is beginning to set in the Forbidden Palace. Behind its central walls, in a courtyard in front of a towered palace, there's a gathering of multiple bureaucrats from the temple, and there are a group of scale sages there, and there is a group of leadership there sat on kind of what, have you ever seen a movie theater chair, Corinth?
Yes, I'm familiar.
A director's chair?
Yes.
That's what they kind of sit on. They each sit on these director's chairs in a big square, all looking at each other. Each person that's there in that circle, not the scale sages or the bureaucrats. There's only 2 bureaucrats in there. Every single other person is there and has one person to the right of them sitting on the ground on their knees. Usually in the same colored regalia. Also, some are carrying flags, etc. And they're in that open courtyard is where we're at. There are a handful of chairs that are still empty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the scene. Those people in the chairs, are these the characters that we're playing?
Unless somebody mentions right now they don't want their character at the start of the scene, all of our characters are there.
Okay.
Are they the people sitting in the chairs, or are they?
They'll be the people sitting in the chairs. The implication is each person sitting in a chair is a leader there, while the person on the ground is their courtier or servant brought with them to the meet.
Why is the Null Giant sitting at this council?
Because the spice merchants hold a significant amount of power within the group.
Yeah, basically, wherever those lands were that we said were the Nil Giants and Scarls to like the west, that's what.
Okay. I was just
They're not
curious.
there yet, but they're developing. Like he's the most powerful person down there, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that like we had the 4 lands, right? The Trogs, the Primals, the Protos, and that other land was kind of like a mixture of a bunch of different things, and that's where he's from.
Yeah, a bunch of refugees.
Yeah, and I just thought making him a spice merchant would be different, so he's not like a warlord or anything. He just has a lot of money.
He has a shitload of money.
Well, then, what are the next question for everyone is what are the general thoughts of your character going into the scene? We'll start with John.
I have no thoughts. I am of no mind.
My mind is a blank slate.
My mind is a blank
Upon it you
slate.
shall paint the most beautiful of pictures.
I'm wondering why they would call anyone here to the palace at this point. Short of the loans they can provide and food and the amount it allows our armies to move, placating them sees the only thing necessary. They don't really hold true power anymore. Why are they calling us here? No one's been called to the palace in an age.
Okay. Corinth?
Well, Tarak is probably thinking, even though he controls Pleasure, I mean, he's a high-level person. He controls the entire Pleasure City. His main thought is, a lot like Toyo, we have no Khan anymore. Who, first off, dares summon us to begin with? Second of all, why was he not allowed to send an emissary, an envoy, to speak for him? Because clearly he has better things to do than, be called upon to speak for the Pleasure City and for the Primal Lizard folk in general.
Getting that Primal Lizard dick suit.
Oh yeah, he has very pretty little proto lizard folk in scantily clad outfits next to him. Rocking it like that.
Pookie?
He brought his harem, dude?
Sure did. Sure did.
What is the Nil Giant thinking? Look at these 3. They have no idea what's about to happen to our country. War will be a thing of the past, but trade will be something everyone has to get behind. And we control the trade, make no mistake, we control the food. The salt, the spice, the roads to bring the salt and the spice, they're all ours. This is going to be the easiest meeting I've ever been a part of. That's what he's thinking.
Yogan is sitting looking at his supposed betters as the troglodytes do not have draconic blood, yet they have mastery over fire. And he's wondering why his people are even still involved with the Horde, which has not had a Khan in enough years that even his grandfather doesn't remember a Khan.
Yeah, the last Khan was like his grandfather's grandfather's Khan, and he was a damn troglodyte.
Yep.
Dicks, lizard folk.
So we got 4 egomaniacs, is what I'm hearing. This is going to go well.
Can I add one?
Yes.
I was thinking. Sorry, I was trying to find a way to just put it into the story by adding it.
Speak up, motherfucker!
But I'll just get to the point.
Say what one goddamn time. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
What?
Hey, what do you have up on your screen that's covering the map right now, man?
Apparently, at some point in time, the program modify debug thing popped up on the browser. So what I was gonna say is I would like to make a motion, even though this isn't how the game works, to make that troglodyte character be a direct lineage of the original 3rd split troglodyte. Like, no?
Motion
You mean you want him to have some lineage to Sento?
to Sento himself?
Yeah.
What
I already figured he had lineage to Sento.
what if instead of being blood, he's like like an apprentice of like his great grandfathers. So like he's a direct, not familiar line, but like an apprentice line, like of cast.
Yeah,
like,
otherwise like
his father.
Squire Knight
Yeah,
line.
apprentice, right? You call him
Yeah.
a magician, right? Isn't that what it is? Apprentice.
Yeah. I like that
Yeah.
because that way the Imperial line is still dead, and it means
Yeah.
that civilization isn't together. But at the same time, the people that are holding shit together have ties back to the old.
Well, in the original cons, which we base this off of, were very much a meritocracy to begin with. Like he put far less stock in blood than he did in like people who could do things for him.
Yeah, and
Sure.
better ideas.
So-
expand with the most amount of ideas.
Until he
Move
became a dynasty,
matter.
he didn't really care what your blood was. Not really. I mean, he cared about his children and shit, but he didn't necessarily put them in positions of power at first.
Yeah, because they sucked. And what's the point?
Yeah, if somebody was better, he also wouldn't kill a lot of his enemies. He would like take them and add them to his army and shit. Like if they were good, he's like, "You want to join me?" And they would just join him and shit.
Yeah. Would you rather die or have lots of wealth and bitches?
Wealth and bitches and land.
Wealth and bitches and land.
And pretty much every exotic item that you could get at the time period if you wanted. What's that? Did you want fish from Norway? No. There's a way to get that.
And
Really?
religious, and one of the
All
early
right.
records of actual religious freedom.
Yeah.
So what was it that you were wanting to add?
The whole bloodline thing.
That
Okay.
and the other thing was I wanted the opener to go from a generic character that was one of the bureaucrats just to set everything up. I didn't name
Do
the
you,
bureaucrats.
do you want to open from the bureaucrat? You can open the.
Yeah, I can
dark-
open. That's why I wanted to know if I could open from a secondary.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go.
What if can you open from the actual seer who's going to give the prophecy so we can actually hear it as the fort, because we don't really have a character doing that, so that would probably be good, right? That's what this is about, right?
I think at this point, because creating prophecy on the spot might be challenging.
Well, we know what the prophecy is, so can we at least get like a piece of it for our characters? Isn't that why we're here?
Yes, it is.
I mean,
Or at least the effects that the prophecy is
Yeah.
currently having with all the first sons.
or if at least the prophecy's already been discussed, we can know what about it is going to cause. Like, what brings this discussion to us splitting up the horde, basically? There has to be a character that.
So the understanding is the prophecy has been discussed as the idea that they see like basically the whole of the nation being shattered into 4 parts. 4 or 5 parts actually would make more sense.
No. Everyone keeps saying 4 parts. That's part of the prophecy, bitch. Keep it up.
Oh,
Is it 4 parts on the prophecy? Yeah, let's do that. Is it 5 parts on our map? Is that what you're saying, Corinth?
yeah.
I'm not even aware if it's 5 or 4.
Yeah, the thing that we've kept ignoring while talking about the prophecy is the 3 cuts.
Yeah.
Which is why Shinto is here. So he's not even involved in what's about to fucking happen. Well, that's even better, dude. I feel like we should make another character then who's going to be the person that's going to inherit this 4th piece of land that we're just leaving these other motherfuckers out of. Are there 4 pieces plus Shinto's 5? I don't even know what the map looks like.
Yes, yeah. There's 4 pieces. There's the Sons of Skarn. There's
primal.
Evergrove, which is probably where the Nil Giant is from.
And Lachey.
And then Shandor is the Lachey.
You're right.
Shandor is the Lachey. And Gojira is the
Proto.
Okay,
No.
so, hey, John, why don't you have a character
Joe
walk
Gear's Proto.
Does anybody have a word for kill or slay that ends with an AKE sound?
What? Hold on. Let me go check my map real quick. Let me go check my freaking spreadsheet here.
What if the person that opens the meeting is the Lachey who wasn't invited to the to the meeting? What if he comes in, he's like, "Hey, what the fuck, bro?"
So, where are we at here? So Evergrove is the Lachey and Trent's,
Okay.
and Shandor is
The Nil Giants and the
Life Giants and the Blue Goblins.
Okay. Well, we can just say Nil
So-
Giants are included in
Well,
that.
the No Giants probably work out too, and they're traders, they're more traders than anything.
Right.
But
So,
maybe they speak for the Life Giants and the Blue Goblins.
so the Evergrove is not represented.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Evergrove's not here.
20 kicked me out on the broadcast. I just noticed.
Yep. You need
Okay,
to.
so I have a tiny little 5-liner prophecy I
Oh,
can
oh,
read if you'd like.
All right.
Might suck ball sack, but we can see. Yeah?
Yeah.
Put on
Yeah.
my best
Lay it on, man.
Just do it.
voice.
Yes, sure. Give me your crone voice. I want to hear a crone
So
voice.
in this courtyard, actually, I wanna add something. I want to add a statue, something that was built to represent the power or strength of the Khanate that sits in that courtyard, and it's a large stone, like monolith type thing.
Does it start bleeding blood from its eyes?
It's called the Storied Stones, because
Okay.
the story of the original creation of the Khanate is put into them in some kind of magic uniform.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me go get him my crown.
Either that or your Christopher Walking halfling voice. One of those two. I want one of those.
When storied stones in four break, a split in faith we must make. A dark claw rise, and late, whose broods of broodmates life must take, and bring new times of great fate.
That's actually pretty fucking good.
The idea being that in
That
there,
wasn't bad, honestly. That was pretty
so it
fucking good.
mentions like
I have
it mentions some kind of famicide, and it mentions
I have a note. It was very good.
Dark
It was
Claw.
technically very proficient, but I didn't believe you in the scene.
Oh man.
All right, so ready, John? I'm gonna need that same energy from you again, and get ready in 3, 2, 1, roll.
Fine.
Action.
I just want to try it one more time. I want you to do the Christopher Walken voice one time.
We've got it. We got it.
I want to hear the
I have
Christopher Walken voice.
That's wonky.
I liked everything I saw because you just suck less this time.
That's the best note right there. Hey, if you just keep sucking less like that,
Yeah,
eventually you'll be good.
we are professional. That was really good, dude. You know, I had to fuck with it. I like your crone voice.
It was good.
I don't have one in stock either. That was all just.
That was a little golem right there.
Yeah. Like, you missed your chance. You should have been on Dark Crystal. I'm just saying.
Oh my god, no, dude. I watched the Best of Butters recently. I forgot about the Lord of the Rings episode.
Oh my god.
Bane would have been better, dude.
No, your Bane is the Bane, man.
So
We may have to do that one night where we just do like our best voice acting and just, that would be
The prophecy of 3 o'clock comes out of the west and it's pumped and you pump again.
It should be Stewart. Well, what Stone said. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it before.
So
A commie rabbit, Jimmy Stewart.
who's opening here?
That was the crane opening it.
Somebody's got to play the Lachey who wasn't invited to the ceremony. He walked in like, hey, what the fuck, bro? They should come in carrying like a mini group.
No. Not the Lachey. The Trent, who took forever to get there because they're slow as fuck.
Slow as fuck, bro. Even the fucking trees walked in those movies. Yeah. Whole movie, everybody's walking.
No, what we didn't say is before the scene started, everybody had been sitting in those chairs every day for 3 weeks straight waiting.
For the Lachey, for the Trent, they're like, fuck it, guys, it's time to go.
Why don't you make like a tree and get here sooner?
That's actually, that's how treants win their wars. They invite you to parlay, and they'll say, we'll meet you here. And then the first time they're really slow, nothing happens. But they're like, oh, it takes us a long time to travel.
The other
second
side
time
starves.
while you're waiting, they conquer your city.
Yeah, the other side starves to death as the Trents are doing their maneuvers, getting ready for the battle and shit. Took them 3 weeks to form a line.
Oh, Lord.
And their lines are called 2x4s. Ba 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 ba.
Oh, my gosh. I feel like we walked right into that one. Much
Show
rain
up that
that
line! It's a real drywall!
day. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so are we gonna go to break?
Let's go!
You wanna
Let's
do
get the
15 and come back?
let's
to
do
the
this. Let's do this scene and then take the
Are
break.
you sure?
Okay.
I think we should do the break now, dude, before we do this scene.
Well, if we finish the scene, it means that we can pick up after the break with the new lens.
All right, let's do it.
Ooh,
Okay, everybody.
we apologize.
Okay, everybody.
Oh Lord, we're having too much problems with this.
No, so that's what the crone says, right? And so,
Says,
so
okay,
what?
everybody. Okay, everybody.
No, I mean prophecy. And you're sitting in front of the storied stones,
Yeah.
and
The Nilgiant bends down to the Trog. Can you actually read any of that? Because I cannot.
Yes, I can.
What the hell did any of that actually mean?
a time of great calamity will come upon us. Storied stones will break, which is our carnate. And when this happens, we must split ourselves in some fashion, and still there will be dark times ahead, and there will be much death of family by family's hands. But
Forgive
if
me
we
for
do
laughing.
this, on the other end, the fate of our carnate will become very great.
Forgive me for chuckling slightly at your voice, Toyo. I forgot that your vocal cords were damaged in the last war.
I was still speaking as crone.
I'm so sorry.
Are you making fun of the crone?
I was totally making fun of the crowd. I thought he was doing Toyo, and I was like, oh my god, it's a Gojira warlord, and he sounds like an old woman. I was like, I'm
this
sorry, I
some
didn't
kind
realize
of
your vocal
joke?
cords were damaged.
I understand that we haven't been on the battlefield together in some time, but I didn't think that you confused me with that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was so fucking confused.
Everybody,
Mm.
everybody there has a good chuckle.
Whatever you do, don't accuse myself
Oh,
of the speeding car.
oh my gosh.
Out of your knowledge.
Oh my gosh.
I jump out of the car.
I run away.
Run away. All right.
Oh, trade lord of the Evergroves.
Yes, small man of the caves. Caves? Canyon?
The
It all probably
scar.
looks pretty tiny
scar.
to him.
Have any dark times spread across the lands?
Where, in Shandor? Where I hail from? Dark times. No, they are pleasant times. There is much spice to be had. Are you in need of spice? I'm sure we could find something to help you concoct greater fire.
We are always in need of spice where I am. from.
Everyone needs spice. Yes.
What of our graders? Toy something.
Toyo.
I'm sorry,
about
I
we just-
cannot be
how
bothered
about-
to remember your name.
I was gonna say, how about you just say those that hail from Shido say she that way?
No, he just doesn't care.
Give a shit.
Raiders?
Those who I can't even bother to remember the names of.
Oh, these two. The scaly ones.
Yes.
Yes. What are your names, by the way?
I am the warlord. Warlord.
The
I'm the warlord. I'm the warlord Toyota-Rama. How are you doing? Okay, no, I am the warlord
Oh shit.
for the lands of the
This is
east.
degenerating quickly.
It is.
I work directly for the emperor. Our imperial
So-
nation. is
so the
still
command-
I am Tarak the Draknar.
Commodity
I,
you possess is war. Might I understand that correctly?
what?
See what his commodity is, clearly. They are quite attractive lizard women.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you said the lizard women.
a woman of a type, I would say. I don't know if they're the kind that we would use in the Saltlands. I can see why you are at this meeting. You are for entertainment, correct?
I mean, we just want to make sure that our interests are taken care of in this.
I'm just trying to understand why we're here. Is it to hear the old crone talk? Because I thought this was a meeting about trade routes. Apparently, I was misinformed.
You see two eunuch figures. So the reason I say it that way is if you know
those were
Romans the Three
mixed.
Kingdoms.
Yes.
So like Romans the Three Kingdoms, like clerical looking gentlemen saying we're here
Yeah.
because we need to speak about the future of the Khanate. And we've called you.
Do we have to?
You are the most powerful representatives of each of your respective areas.
Tarak looks over at Yoga, and that is the most powerful representative of the troglodytes. How far the line of Sento has fallen, clearly.
We are not here to shed scale, but we can allow for that after we agree what's going to happen.
I'm not an expert, but I think he just insulted you.
It is difficult to decipher insults from Slavic beast.
I'd be careful, pleasure merchant. I have heard tales of the troglodytes. They have great fire.
Perhaps. Or
Well,
perhaps their just tongue is fiery, but that's all.
I believe the future of our great nations should revolve around the great practice of free trade. And as a representative of Shenador, I have many, many applications that I could give to you to help increase your trade. For instance, pleasure merchant. Wouldn't it be nice if in every small village you had a base of pleasurers to help pleasure seekers?
I do think that would be a good idea.
Using my patented road system, I could make that a reality for you.
Are you taking yourself seriously?
Aphrodisiacs.
Are you taking yourself seriously, brothers? You there, member of the Khan, the Sons of COVID. You just allow him to call you a pleasure merchant? As though you are not a noble line? This man here. What respect does he show any of us?
I apologize, sir.
I do not need trade in my lands. I need peace in my lands. And then
there's no peace anywhere in any of our lands. There never has been.
Yes, but this man seems to be thinking that trade can thrive in a land where banditry is still loose. I still push my armies around every week, fighting new waves.
Trade thrives in Shandahor. Maybe we are doing something correctly that you are not. I can understand. It's hard being such a cold-blooded creature to understand that other creatures do not need to rely on war and bloodshed to get along. We in the West rely on money. Do you know what's great about money? You don't die when using it.
And there's no honor in it. There's no noble fight in it.
Honor is overrated.
Yeah,
Winning is all that matters.
Is this a meeting about honor? I believe our horde lost its honor, I don't know, when Skarn fell. Wasn't that a millennia ago?
It was some time ago. And then our last Khan abandoned us. Oh, I don't know, for the for the stars. So
wasn't he a troglodyte?
He was a troglodyte.
Yes, he was. But we're here to speak on dark times, are we not?
They are dark times.
Dark times is losing your home world and being thrust into a world that doesn't fully understand you. What, Toyo? Speak.
I'm taking narrator real quick. As Tarak, the troglodyte, and the Null Giant are speaking, the argument that was started by them continues to ripple through the other generals that are there from the different other parts inside of the nation. It begins to crescendo and start into a physical fight. And at that point, in the sky above, a crack of lightning comes down and splits the Storied Stone into 4 pieces in front of the group. One of the pieces landing on 2 of the fighting members.
Which 2?
2 of the NPC fighting members down the way.
Oh, okay. I was like, do I have a stone?
No, like I'm saying, like the group was big.
Yeah.
The people that were supposed to
Yeah.
be meeting. So somewhere the ripple effect of this fight.
You, man of the cave, what magic was that?
That was Rend.
I have never seen a bolt of lightning without a storm.
True prophecy.
There's no one else it could be.
I see 4 stones, and I see 4 sigils.
The old crone spoke of this, did she not? She said something about the stone shall shatter. I wasn't really paying attention. I was looking at her face.
I think
disturbing.
I think that's what I would do. One of the small pieces of stones broke off and hit the crone in the head.
That has not improved her face very much.
So as to clarify.
As the conversation continues, Yogan will actually go and inspect the stones. And as he turns each one of these massive chunks of storied stone, the broken inset, the insides that are a rough broken shape, each bear the ancient draconic symbolism for the sons of Skarn, Gojira, Shandor, and Evergrove.
There is none present for the...
And you see that everyone present sees that he actually looks quite perplexed by this.
Just then, one of the troglodyte attendants standing next to the sheer sage takes the rock that has fallen on and hit in her head and hides it unbeknownst to the other people at the presence. That's for later history.
Okay, so he stole the sigil.
So Rend has spoken.
Seems
you watch as Yogan just raises his hand, and a plume of fire kind of jumps out of his hand, getting the attention of pretty much everyone here. But more importantly, it's kind of like sending a signal to all the troglodytes, and they will disengage from any fighting, and all the troglodytes exit stage right.
Apparently, we shouldn't have invited them to the party. They're not worthy.
So are these sigils there for everybody to see?
Yes.
But what about the sacrifice of Sento? That was honorable. If that honorable act didn't get your achievement and recognition, then what would?
Well, clearly...
Has he left yet, Yogan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Niljon Nasher takes his piece of the sigil. He just rips it off of the base, and he follows Yogan outside.
Tarak reaches down and grabs his fragment and looks at Toyo and says, clearly Rend is not impressed with Sento's sacrifice.
Yogan's going to try to catch up to the envoy of Yogan. Our shirts.
Warlord Toyota Torama grabs his piece for the Gojira nation and thinks to himself, when I return, I will kill the Emperor and take the rightful place of power.
As Nashur catches up to Yogan, a rather large Trent slowly walks towards the stone.
I was the really peaceful, perfect lord of the South. I was invited here.
Meeting's done.
Meeting's done. Here's your fragment.
Vice Lord was the guy picked to lead? Wait, what?
Master Yogan, a moment of your time before you crawl back into your cave.
Crawl.
Listen.
I think, honestly, at this point, we have answered the question. If you want to create another scene on this later, we can. But if you want to just touch it now, we can too.
Yeah, I want to touch it real quick.
Just touch it real fast.
Touch it a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of touch.
Back and forth.
Listen to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
These other fools at the meeting don't see the importance of you, but I do. So, can I propose a agreement between the two of us that even though you are not included in the sacred lands, that Shandor would love to ally with you? We give you spice to help your fire, and you make sure that we're protected.
Those fucking null giants are asshats.
Send your
Powerful asses.
send your envoys to Harya.
Oh, take my son. His name is Mashor Gila. He will attend to your every need. Go on, boy.
In 3 months' time, my son will arrive at your palace.
We have an accord.
Hmm.
Is the meeting over yet?
Hello.
Turok hands the fragment.
Days.
Hold on. So, was one of the 4 fragments stolen?
Well,
The
No,
was
the fifth fragment was
or the fifth. The troglodyte fragment. The troglodyte was supposed to be part of this, but weren't because a troglodyte attendant grabbed the troglodyte piece and hid it.
Nice. So, Turok tosses the fragment at the trend, says, "Go back to your lands. We're splitting up the group, but you have your lands." And with that, he walks out as well, taking his saucy lizard bitches with him.
Bro.
but my name is Aspen.
But this is the crazy part.
Oh, trees.
I'm gonna do a small scene. Not small. I'm gonna fill one little thing in at the end of this that happens.
I
That
have
we
the
can come back
answer
into later with another scene.
to help everybody and everything.
Right after the Null Giant sent the talk with the Trog, all of the other people that were in that group that had got done attending the injured person or the injured seer or any of these things are now coming to realize that those pieces will greatly represent power, and a brawl breaks out. Deadly, moving from the people trying to catch up with the first people that left.
Why do you
Kill
fight
them.
me? I am but a tree. I assure you, my bark is worse than my bite.
Oh my god, I hate this so much.
all right, guys. We're gonna take a 15-minute break. Go to the bathroom, stretch your legs, walk around, do something healthy, or do something really unhealthy. You know, cigarettes. Don't do cigarettes. Just take us to break. Take us to break.
My hands are straight.
Okay. There we go.
I just leopard seal it.
I am so glad that they are not listening to the shit we talk on break. Big, thick milkshakes.
They call John the leopard seal. He's just.
So, we are back.
I want you
I
guys to
thought-
know that everything we were talking about was terrible, and we were terrible people for talking about it. But man, it's funny.
I'm not. I was getting coffee.
Hot
that's-
coffee.
It's a code word for something thick and black.
Quite
Got
bitter.
caught in my throat.
Quite bitter. I had to take it down with a lot of cream.
Oh, yeah. The cream just makes it better.
Yeah, well, yeah, that kind of takes the bitter away, or else the coffee wouldn't be good.
Oh Lord.
I mean,
Oh
you can
Lord.
take
Well,
coffee
you
straight.
couple everything y'all just said with the last comment that Corinth has in chat.
A whole lot of empty sack.
Hold on. Empty sack up in here, dude. There's no empty sack up in here.
So,
Okay,
It drains.
so
who's the next focus?
the next focus is Son of Pookie.
Whoa, it's my turn?
Oh,
It's your turn.
It's on now. All right, so what does this mean again?
Why? What's wrong, John?
picked the thing that we're
You picked the
focusing-
legacy. Your legacy
yeah,
was.
yeah. Nobody put the text in the legacy though, so I gotta go.
Wait, I thought I already picked a legacy.
No. The legacy was the thing that we did.
Legacy's over. Now it's focus. You're the new focus.
Lens. You get to pick the
Or
thing that
lens.
we focus
Sorry.
on.
Okay. I want to focus on the giant savage minotaurs, also known as the monolithics.
All right.
Okay.
So
All right, so then you come up with a period.
no,
You
you,
don't
can
have
come up
to
with
do
an
it.
event and a
You can
event
do
or
a period
scene.
and an event, or you can do an event and a scene.
All right.
Or you can just come up with a period, an event, or a scene if you don't want to do a nested thing.
So I can do an event and a scene.
Yes, and
Okay.
nest it where it's a dictated scene.
Yeah, the scene and the event correlate to each other.
You guys discuss anything except for untoward things about male reproductive organs. And go.
Because if we talk about that,
So while he's
Pookie's
working on
10% is going to come out real
Hey,
fast.
quick question on this. So I'm gonna make the scene that I did last time light,
Okay.
but I was gonna say that the time period, is there any way to make it gray? It's not necessarily good.
time period.
The time period,
See,
not time
you're
period.
thinking of
the
it in good and bad. It's more, is it a light toned or a dark toned? It doesn't necessarily mean good or bad.
Oh, okay. Light toned, then for both the event, and then dark tone for the scene, even though it was leading to light. Because the scene looked pretty dark, right? I mean, the fucking thing of lightning, the fucking trogs were told to go fuck off. Which I
Real
thought that was.
lightning.
Is anybody okay with that decision to do that?
Yeah, it's fine.
Palm the thing and create this.
Well, I mean, clearly there's a fifth nation, but
No one knows yet.
They don't share the Vatican City.
Yeah, but they also don't know that they were destined as part of the prophecy to be part of this whole thing, and that some person that who knows where it shows up in history later. Just thought it was a neat little 4 pieces. And I made a joke earlier about how a piece hit the seer, and so what if that was the piece that had the sigil?
So she got like mushroom stamped by a sigil.
Yeah, she got smacked.
I think it's interesting. But we talked about the dark times, and we didn't really discuss that in the scene itself. But I kind of feel like the people most directly affected by the dark times, the death of the first sons, like we were talking, are probably just going to be the lizard folk themselves, the primals and the protos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because the other people of the horde aren't so directly tied to it. Like the Lachey, the hill or not hill giants, the Nil giants, the blue goblins.
Well, what I was thinking is the prophecy finds a way to apply itself independently to each of the 4 splits. So, like, for instance, it says a dark claw, which clawed thing, and then you have this other stuff. But what if this traitor ends up leading to a slave nation? 'Cause that's what it sounds like it's going towards. A merchant-built slave nation.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like what you're doing there, Joey. I'm Pookie. Finally fucked up.
Yeah, I don't want to draw all this out, Steve, but I'm just kind of giving you some lines that you can go along with later. But just like in Attack of Titan, they're going to build a bunch of walls that kind of progressively go towards a center area where they're going to establish their capital, like the capital of Gojira. And that center city there'll be walls upon walls in front of this center city to protect it from these giant fucking bestial minotaurs that are destroying everything. So, Steve, you can go ahead and freehand that however you want to do it when you're doing the map, as long as it, follows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like walls, walls built. So not like one great wall, like a series of great walls.
Yeah, because the Great Wall itself is actually not one wall. It's actually
it's many walls, but these are in different locations. They don't want to. Yeah. And the scene I want to do is, I guess we could do it in between here, but I want to do a scene where they like come up with this plan to construct these walls and like how they're going to do it. And I guess I can just dictate it. So Malik Fireborn is the one who actually comes up with the plan to construct these walls. And the way he's able to do this is he sends an envoy to the troglodytes for them to help give them the siege technology or the anti-siege technology they need to build these walls.
Nice.
So it kind of invites the troglodytes back into the fold during this.
The time of the feudal states.
Yeah. So if they want to incorporate this, fine. But he does ask for their help, and I'm just going to say that they give it to him because they're worried that these giants are going to start coming down and fucking with
Causing them problem too. Yeah, that would definitely be like a light tone because it's like a good thing, you know, like not even like it's just a time of unity. That makes sense.
Yeah, it beat me to it. Thank you, whoever did that. I was about to write all that out.
No problem, buddy. You dictated it. I typed it.
All right, and that's my turn. So in this scene would be Malik and I guess Yungar. Is Yogar, is he still in charge down there, or do you think what I was going to pitch is that the Null Giant's son is now the leader down there, like his father passed away and now he is like their Connor, their leader now.
What was the name of the Null Giant?
Mashur.
And I was
Mashur. Mashur.
propose the same thing, that the troglodyte son is now the leader of the free merchants of Shandor.
Now, would he change his name to Gila instead of Gilla because he has been raised around the lizard folk?
Or maybe he takes the Trog's last name.
Can we extend that to grandfather or great grandfather? Or they just leave it open until we figure out how long that timeline is?
Yeah, but
Lineage.
The lineage switches.
Yeah.
Switches from now. There's Null Giants in the Scar. Now there's Trogs in the free merchant lands. Like
Nice.
a line of it.
I'm
So
good with it.
it wasn't a bad split. Like they didn't fuck each other over. They joined forces.
I didn't really think that the like just to talk about it in short order, I didn't think that the troglodytes necessarily like are going to war with the rest. They're just kind of like, we're not really being hit by dark times. Maybe this is a curse just for the lizard folk.
Yeah, and that's kind of how the Null Giant felt too, because he feels outside of it too. And all the people in his lands, none of them are lizard folk, right? So none of them are like dragonkin specifically. So at this meeting, the only person that he felt was an ally was the troglodyte. So that's why when it all split up, he was like, "Well, I'm going to take advantage of this situation. Like I'm going to make a friend right here and now, you know, and give him something that he may need."
That makes sense.
And that poor treant didn't show up on time.
Nope, he got fucked, dude.
But I'm thinking, all jokes aside, on the slow travel, it would have made it on time, but it was purposefully delayed by the spice trader.
Possibly. He is a dirty fucker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's my turn. Yep.
In fact, I'd like to say that spice trader probably paid every single person that was invited from his lands to find a way not to show up.
Yeah.
And if he's smart, he's an information trader as well, so he would know who, you know.
Fucking missed it. I should have called him Nashor Gecko. You know, like Gordon Gecko's like great descendant. His ancestor.
Super Mario Bros, bro. Best movie ever.
Oh God.
Actually, I saw a breakdown of it and about how it was like a social commentary. And like it's funny.
It's so bad that I enjoy it. Like I would still watch that show.
No, but there's like a commentary buried in it about like certain ideals of society and what they lead to, and like it's kind of funny. Somebody took it really serious and like really analyzed it. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Fuck. On Super Mario Bros. For real? Okay.
So dumb question. If we create a scene, does that, since we don't nest, we actually have to role play that out, right?
Yes.
You don't have to. You
can
can
dictate scenes too.
dictate.
Sorry. I meant you have to put it under an event that's already existing.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, you can do either version.
I want you to know that when we are through here, I shall endeavor to find the most creative ends for the good doctor and his wife.
You should start quoting, was it Blade Runner?
We are doing a scene.
Yes. Oh, my dear man. You think you're the only one that can do this?
So, This
sir, it's not a
going
scene.
to
It's a
answer-
goddamn arms race.
This scene is going to answer the question.
It's fine.
How-
Who drank his milkshake?
Can y'all not hear me?
We can't. We're ignoring you. Sorry,
Sorry,
we're talking over you.
I said the question is who drank his milkshake?
You have a milkshake, and I have a milkshake, and my straw goes all the way over to your milkshake. Sorry. I love that movie.
Go ahead, Steve.
That's a great movie, actually.
It's a
I
great-
was gonna see if you were gonna bring this into the actual story that we're.
Oh, that's a great idea, dude. Yeah, there will be blood. That should be the scene. I'll beat somebody.
And you have a milkshake. And I was like, are you bringing it in? Like, how are you bringing it in? Fuck, I want to see it.
Drinks all of your milkshake.
Okay, no. This scene is going to be about how specifically Kumo ends up twisting the Minotaurs. And I believe the people involved in the scene, at least the two people who absolutely need to be in this scene, are going to be Kumo and Whisper Letty.
Okay.
And I believe that the scene itself is going to take place outside of the lands of Gojira themselves, in the area that the Minotaurs are actually from. As we had discussed during Dawn of Worlds, that the Minotaur at some point, before whatever has happened to them, started building maze-like structures for some reason. So this meeting, this corruption, is actually happening at like the heart of the maze. And right now,
Is that in the Black Dust area? Or is that in the Hunter's Labyrinth?
Yeah, it's in the Black
in the
Dust
Black
area.
Dust area.
Black
Where
Dust. That's right. Okay.
where the Empress used to be, they built like a giant labyrinth there, like around their city. So nobody.
What
could-
if? Never mind.
Go ahead. What are you gonna say, John?
Nothing.
What?
It would retcon something. Don't worry about it.
All right. Continue on.
I was
He had an idea. He didn't like it. So
All right, so those are the two primary characters that I think need to be involved in that scene. If anyone has any characters they'd like to add,
I know who I'm playing. I already got him.
I figured I know who you're playing, but anyone have any idea?
No, I have
who
a
you'd
character.
like to
I
add?
have a character to
What do you want to add?
add. Bellows Dern.
You want to put Bellows in the scene?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay.
So I can use part of the idea. I just can't use the same source. I was thinking, they built this wall and they're in the land of the Black Dust. What if they could also control the Black Dust through negative energy, like as a racial trait? But then I thought that was given to dude by Alcatos,
Yeah.
not by the Queen.
Mhm.
true.
So the only way it makes sense for both parties is if it wasn't Alcatos and it was the Queen.
Well,
Who
That
knows?
would
we
be-
have to wreck on that. But we did say the Minotaurs were immune to it, though. They're immune to the
The negative energy.
negative energy.
Okay.
All right.
So
I
it's
have
not
one.
like-
I have one other person I'd like to add
Yep.
to this. I'd like to add in a tortoise kami that is known as Fujima, who has been twisted by the negative black energy.
Okay. Are you taking notes on this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So we got Fujima, we got Bellows, we got Letty, and we
What
have.
were the two dictated ones?
Kuma. Well, now it's
Kumo and Letty. Kumo and
they're
Letty.
all dictated now.
They're all dictated now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
All right. So John, which character do you want to take up?
we got Letty, Dern, Fujima, and
Kumo.
Kumo. I kind of want to play Fujima.
Okay,
Sure, dude.
It's a tortoise, Kami.
it's a tortoise kami who's been twisted by black dust.
So this is
By
a
negative
spirit
energy.
Kami, not
Spirit
like
kami, yes.
Okay, cool. Of a tortoise, so I'll be real slow. I'm
Corn?
prepped for the tree ant practice.
Oh man. Which one do you really want, Pookie? Who do you really want?
I just want to do Bellows so I can do a Bane voice. But I don't know, dude. I think I'm gonna take Kumo. I'm gonna take Kumo.
I'll take whispers.
Okay. Well, that leaves me with Bellows.
This is interesting too, because Steve might do something totally different than I was going to do. So
I can't do the Bane voice.
Anyone
well, no,
like
I had a whole
character
reason
acting?
for why he was there and everything, but
Hmm?
now you can come up with it. I had a whole reason for why he was there, but now you can come up with it since you're playing him.
I'm saying, does anybody have any comments on the character acting?
Nah, man, okay.
Oh, are you are you turning into a turtle?
What are the turtles' thoughts, John?
Oh, you think your shell is your ally? You were
John.
onto the
The
shell.
turtle. The turtle is following its master Kumo, helping him to take over his rightful place in the world and gain vengeance against his foes and Fujima's.
Dude, Leonardo just said he loved me, dude. That's right. Down. I have my own turtle. Okay.
I like it.
All right,
I wa-
Letty. What are your thoughts?
Well, clearly we've been having the fall of the whispers, and we're trying to rebuild them. So we see ourselves as Kumo and Fujima. So that's why we're involved. Anywhere that spreads the whispers is a good place to be. What about you, Bellows?
Whispers v. Bellows. Ding, 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 ding.
Kumo, what are your thoughts?
You're not going to go next? You're going to make me go next?
In
Well, you're in
lineup,
the
you're
order,
next.
right?
Yeah,
I think that's the right order.
yeah.
I want vengeance. I'm going to destroy the lands of the people who cast me out!
Twice. I'm his hype man in the corner going, twice, yo.
Twice.
Twice, motherfucker!
He saved him all the time and gave him the once begotten son.
Here's
and
my
twice
Yes,
they stepped on my boy.
here's my acting note. The turtle will sound and act like Flavor Flav.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, boy, come on. Yeah. You know what time it is? I do because I got a giant clock on my chest, boy. Yeah.
I got a giant clock built into my shell.
Yeah. It's right twice a day.
That's so bad. That's gonna be so hard to keep a straight face.
In my native tongue, they call me Bling Bling.
Yeah, I fucked Red Sonja. Ah, that's right.
Oh.
Bellows has finally had one of his agents, the few that he still has, see uptake in Whisper's action in the ancient lands of the Horde, in the lands north of it. And he intends to stop his old master yet again. The last great action that he took was creating some brooches.
Yeah.
What silly little games does Letty have in store now?
I would just like to note that we all picked someone and none of us got to play the person we picked.
Yeah,
Indeed.
precisely.
Like bitches.
What the fuck?
You know, I just keep thinking about, like, when he said that, though, I just pictured Ewan McGregor looking at Qui-Gon like, why are we here, Master?
All right, so I'm going to set the scene for y'all. Currently, Fujima. That's the name of the
Yes.
turtle.
Yes.
The turtle.
Fujima,
Wait,
Kumo.
is this is a kami? Is he actually like a physical tortoise?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just double checking to make sure it's not
Yeah.
like some animal.
He is a spirit who is manifested
Okay.
as a physical tortoise.
So, for instance, I'll be eating leaves and stuff and speaking psychically to you. Not
Oh,
drinking
no,
air.
you could be like, you could speak, you could be spoken like a pipe or something.
Ah,
You will
I
be
get
eating leaves while adjusting your giant clock, sir. If you recall my acting notes.
actually, I have a
the-
piece
the
of rock in
scene-
my shell, and then we got it from the south
The
hemisphere.
scene
Sorry, mine
actually
almost
begins with Fujima, Kumo, and Whisper Letty at the heart of the fortress maze,
The labyrinth? Yeah.
or the labyrinth, the heart of it, like the wellspring. Imagine if the Minotaurs had like a central breeding location where all of the young are
fuck
kept.
tank. The fuck tank.
No, not the fuck tank. The place where you drop off the thing that the fuck tank produced.
Yeah, if you want to be crass about it, John, then yes.
Jesus, John. We're
Jeez.
rated PG here, dude.
Come on, read the room, dude.
God.
But the three of them are there, and Bellows will be entering at some point during the scene.
Yeah,
the question being asked here is how
he'll be
Kumo
entering a lot of-
manages to change the Minotaur folk of the negative energy wastes into the monstrosities that they become.
Go. You should start.
Who should start? The turtle?
Yes.
The turtle should start.
The turtle should start.
I eat some leaves, and I have a thought that will take me 12 years to comprehend, because I'm immortal and a tortoise. I picked the possible.
No, that's kind of the perspective I was about to go down, actually, in a way. So I think I have it though. I just need to find the voice. Give me 1 second.
Just think of Eeyore on speed.
Okay, here we go. I believe we can always wait longer. If you really think about it, your plan does not need to take action in a short time for you to gain vengeance. You do not need to see the act for the vengeance to occur.
I mean, while Fujima is wise, wouldn't you rather see the fruits of your labor?
I would
know I
rather
would.
make sure the fruit grew in the first place.
Kumo, I believe that we can ally together. I have found ancient rituals from a very remote island, a place where an eye is opened up. Not an eye, not the eye, of course, but more of a portal that I believe where strong chaos still originates. And maybe, just maybe, if we were to take some of your minotaurs down there, we could turn them into large savage beasts. Much like what were those giant fish things?
Is that what you said?
Yeah, no, he's old. He's brave. Yeah, the kaiju. That's right, kaiju. Thank you.
So young. However could anyone forget a kaiju?
Well, some of us do a lot of plotting. We have a lot going on.
You've never seen a tortoise swim faster.
So Kumo begins to walk around this. You said it's like a pit, right, Steve? In the center of this room?
Yeah, it's where they keep the young.
Letty, do you know what this place is?
Not particularly, no.
I find that fascinating. Someone who's been alive for so long. There's still things you don't know. See, this is where these minotaurs, that you call them, this is where they reproduce. They have their babies, they're young, and after birth, they decide whether they're strong enough to survive, and they do that by throwing them into this pit. When they're in the pit, there's no food or water, so you can imagine how they have to survive.
So, do we take the strongest or do we take the weakest?
We're still waiting on one more. I'll answer your question in a second as soon as our fourth arrives. Because I do believe I've called the strongest here already.
Who else could you possibly have brought here?
An old friend of yours.
Bellows.
As you make mention of that, actually in the
Lightsabers come
halls
out?
or the pathway into this central location, where the three of y'all were able to actually journey here by your own means, Bellows and a few of his agents actually are having to fight their way in. So you hear the loud shouted magics of the Bellows.
So damn loud. Why did you invite him?
I had to have people to put in the pit.
Hmm.
You really think I invited you here because I need your magic? Do you know what you are, Letty? You're a parasite. You've been riding on the back of people greater than you for 1,000 years.
Some of us have been around long enough to see it. And you might not be the only one that knows locations of old and powerful places.
You brought me here to be sacrificed.
I brought you here for the opportunity to be the one who isn't sacrificed.
Hmm.
A tale as old as time starts its new chapter today.
At this point, leading into the chamber where the pit is, almost like a sonic boom of sound reverberates through the halls before. Bellows Dern was a nil giant, wasn't he?
Yep. Oh, he's a life giant.
Life giant. Before the rather sizable form of Bellows Dern comes into the chamber. Ah, Letty, I found you at last.
Hello, Bellows. How are you?
Such a nice greeting. Hello, Bellows. How are you? Sorry, that made me laugh.
Okay. Yet we meet again. For
For
what seems like the 400th time. Well,
Tortoise slowly begins moving back.
Kumo and I believe, as far as Fujima, were discussing how to make him an army, but apparently Kumo does not appreciate my presence, so I believe we're going to be fighting to the death, you and I, Bellows.
Finally. You do not run. You do not hide.
No, I apparently was set up for this, so... Did you and Kumo have something going on, or was I
No,
just unfortunate?
don't feel
The
bad.
little lizard man does not interest me. I've come to break your bones.
The first mage I see do this made its participants immortal. Don't feel too bad.
Bellows is just boldly approaching the group now. He doesn't really care about the turtle or Kumo.
Suddenly, like the overwhelming power of positive energy is starting to negatively affect the tortoise as its energy and the energy from the null giant are kind of passively engaging each other.
Yeah, fighting each other off.
Yeah.
Okay, so does Dern keep coming towards Letty?
Yes.
All right, Kumo steps in front of Letty.
Yes,
Remove
Kumo.
yourself from my presence.
His eyes roll back in his head, and this strange glow begins to like emit from all around his body, and these like chyrons of mystical energy start to shoot off him, and you see like the 8 symbols that made up the original 8 that Alatoon made the sword out of. They start to like rise up out of his body, and you kind of see like the ghostly image of Alatoon like over him.
This is about to end very poorly. I should probably make my exit.
For clarification, does anything from Alatoon's negative energy interact with the null giant and the tortoise?
Yeah.
As the energy rises out of her, and Letty's like, I should exit stage left. The tortoise and the null giant, their energy starts getting sucked into this form that's hovering above Kumo. And Letty feels like his. Remember how we gave them like psychic powers? He can feel like his power starting to ebb away from him and suck into this image that's above Kumo and is above this birthing pool. And in a voice that's different than his voice before, it says, "No, no, no, Letty. You will not leave here, nor will you, Bellows, nor will you, my friend. All of you are going to go in there. And I'm excited because even I don't know what's going to come out."
All suggests more than a couple.
And she sucks all the energy off of all three of them and shoots it into the birthing pool.
Uh-oh. I think me and Bellows are quite mortal at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's.
Oh, vocal cords. Then Kumo just kind of walks over to the side of the pit, and he just looks down inside of it.
And that answers the question.
That does answer the question.
Nice.
Fuck.
You guys like it, no? Pretty good. I wanted to put
like
a little intrigue in there where like you didn't know if Letty was going to die or not, or if Bellows was going to kill him or whatever. But Alatoon just wanted to get all of them into the same room together.
Is the tortoise part of it too? When you said
Yeah.
all,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah,
the tortoise is like the tortoise is just a surprise. Like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, all.
I thought
all
we were
doesn't mean-
friends.
I thought all doesn't mean a couple. Wait, what? Like, what do you mean me?
And by the way, when I said all, that includes Kumo. So like all that energy, all those different powers mixed into that thing down there, and that's what made these monolithic creatures.
So does Kumo
Jeez.
sacrifice his power in order to see the?
Oh, Kumo sacrificed his power, but Alatoon, she still has hers inside his body. But yeah, his power's gone. His negative energy's gone. Letty's psychic powers are gone. The holy energy of the life giants are gone, or that life giant's gone. Bella's energy, and then the immortality, I'm guessing, of the kami
Yeah.
on now too.
Hell.
Mixing together.
Honestly, the kami might have been completely sucked up to begin with.
I was thinking it'd be cool if he's still just a tortoise, like he's just a fucking tortoise, dude.
Just a regular tortoise.
It's a tortoise.
Like, is it sentient? Like I can talk still, but it has no power. It has no power whatsoever. Oh, bless me, great kami. Yes, I will bless you and your family. Give me 3 gold coins. And then he just moves on to the next town.
So the
He's
question
so
is,
slow. So
All
if
right.
you knock somebody over and their crops fail, like they can catch up to him and kick his ass.
and I'm gonna say as the scene ends, that Bellows and Whisper, they don't kill each other.
No. Now they're far more concerned with other shit. As the sound of rumbling savagery starts to come from the pit. Like Bellows and Whisper, like, let's get the fuck out of here. Like today we're allies.
Look, Durin was a whisper first.
Yeah.
Self-preservation.
Yes, we're
Yeah. Self-preservation's on. It's time to get the hell out of here.
Also, I really loved playing Fujima.
You're welcome, by the way.
I really liked that.
You're welcome.
It was fun to.
All right.
I still kind of like that. That like, wait, all.
That was interesting.
All of you. 1 second.
All right, John, you're up.
Yes.
Do we want
So,
to do like one more, couple more, or like how many more do we want to do?
John, you, Joe, Pookie.
No, it would be. You just went. Who just went?
I just went.
Okay, so then it's me.
It's
So then
you,
Damien and then
Corn,
Legacy.
Pookie,
Pookie, then Legacy.
and
Okay.
we'll end before the legacy because that's what we did last time. We'll pick up with the legacy.
Time issue.
Well, I mean, a
It's
little
11
bit.
o'clock.
Okay, well, I have an event. Mine's going to be fairly quick. It's not a scene. So, what my event is I'm going to put it over during the 13 periods
Okay.
of feudal states. And I'm going to put it after Tashal retires. Or should I put it during the time of the Vice? You know what? I think I might.
And this,
No.
and this is dealing with the Savage Minotaurs.
Yes, I'm trying to think of how to when based on Kumo's arc, because you don't want him to be all bad the whole time or all good the
No.
whole time. And if you can have more than just the one dynamic switch, it might be better. So I'm trying to figure out
Just
where to fit.
remember, whatever you do has to do with the focus, which is
Oh, I've got
monolithic.
no issue with that. The event is where Kumo finds the item, the script, the thing that's necessary to do the ritual that was done in that last scene. And he had found it a long time before. In fact, like the tortoise was part of the journey to finding it. And what had happened was he like was holding it in reserve, or like this concept of like maybe there was redemption that he could get, or maybe he could find a way to back in power, or and then sometime after the 13th feudal states he decides to engage in the information he's had for some time. So I was thinking either in the time of the Iron Vice after he's exiled.
I like that. Maybe he
Or-
found the ritual because while he was exiled, he traveled around, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere, yeah.
He could have
Well-
found it. He could have found his way to the ancient Slod city of Drax.
Well, I was actually thinking of trying to find another source, since that's the source Letty was coming with, introducing in the scene.
Okay.
So like he'd actually found another source somewhere else.
So you're saying Letty kind of is the Slod source, right? Kind of the life giant, or the what's her name?
And that
Bridget. That was her power.
and Letty gets the ability now to go back to the Chaos Heart and use that himself for some new story arc. I was actually gonna put the power in the Queen's hands. That's why the base of operation is so far north. It's in the Minotaur thing.
In the Empress's hands?
Yeah, Empress. Sorry, yeah.
Well,
What do you guys think?
the Empress is at the Acid Lake now. So you think she gave him the ritual?
Or she directed him to what needed to be found. What do you think could be besides the dark? Because the dark heart, the Chaos Heart, is the best explanation. But I want to kind of leave it for Letty.
Make it a Chronix ritual, and what we see as giant rampaging beasts is actually like the Neanderthalic stage.
Oh
of
my goodness!
existence.
What if it's not the Dark Heart? But do you remember that the Salmon had a group of scientists that
In the
The
North,
brother-
Charlie Day characters,
studied? Remember, they studied the
the
Kaiju.
Gojira.
The Brotherhood of Ro.
Yes, so they were experts on the ways that different creatures could be combined.
Yeah.
So from those studies is how they developed this ritual to combine all this energy to make
Okay.
a creature.
And Whispers and Letty is a salmon, isn't he? I mean,
No, he's
Salmon.
a hawk man.
he is a Hawkman. You're right. Thank you.
No, but I have something that works with that, and with the Chronics, and something that Tortoise was like when I first came in. I was thinking about the long time, and I was like, oh man, he could be suggesting the idea of evolving the creature from something else over a long period of time.
That would be the Brotherhood.
So they get the Brotherhood of Ro,
Yeah,
and that
exactly.
is what helps create this creature type. But then to accelerate the growth
They
into
use
this
Chronics.
monumentally large thing, they use
Yes.
Chronics rituals
With it, yes.
and extend that time. And so that's the quest that he's on. Now the question though is, and it does look perfect right after the exile, but what if after the exile he reserves it then because he doesn't want to be that bad guy, or he finds it actually not during exile, but after the second time when he comes to the meeting thinking, oh, my son's come around. He's going to finally give me back my rightful due. And then when it all collapses and he goes, here's, you do handle your shit. I'm the fuck out. He knows then, okay, I need to find something to bring this down.
What if he already has it? What if remember you said the quest from the first exile before he goes to that meeting with the blade, right? Without Lalatune's blade, he already has the pieces of the ritual. He has the research, he has the time device, and he has the place. So the Empress tells him about the place. He gets the research from studying the Salmon, and he gets the time device from the Chronics, right? So he's quested for those three things. He has them already. When he goes to the meeting and he grabs the sword, and Alatune transfers into his body, that's when it pushes him towards using the ritual. He doesn't actually want to do it. It's her that
I
wants to.
like that.
Yeah,
So
like Alatoon found out that he had access to that and was like, "Oh, I'm definitely going to use that."
So the whole time, it's been a battle of wills between him and Alatoon to not have this. He's been trying to stop her from doing this. And this scene right here was her finally. She's taken over. She's gotten all these people to this place. So she's in control of him now. So that wasn't actually Kumo talking the whole time. That was her.
How about no? How about at the very beginning it was Kumo, but Kumo was making a play and thinking, okay, if I can get them here, she'll think I'm following her orders. But if I get them to surprise each other, I can get them to engage in combat
Yeah, kill each other.
and kill each other.
At the beginning of the conversation, he was more gearing toward. It sounded like he was trying to get them to kill each other.
Yeah,
like, fight each
exactly.
other.
Like he was setting it like I set up. But it
Yeah,
didn't
and
work.
she stepped in right when Dern was about to fight Letty. She stepped in between them and took control and stopped it. Yes.
Yeah.
So right to the last second, he was trying to do the moral thing, the good thing. And he did.
I like it. That's pretty
I
badass.
like this concept. Like it's this wrapped character who had no option. He jumps from Alcatos to Alatoon.
Yeah, basically. And he's in control of another evil entity now,
Yeah.
and lost the power.
And the only reason he's even able to keep the evil at the bay for this thing that's unsung that no one will ever care that he's done is because he was so geared as a young child by all these wise people.
And he's strong. So I mean, we could say this took years for him to develop. This took years for this to happen, right? Because it's another period now. So for years he fought against this desire of Alatoon to destroy everything. And he just eventually lost. Got eroded down and he lost. Yeah, I like it, dude. Like I said, Kag explains the scene too, so it wasn't just intrigue. That it was actually him being like, "No, bitch, I'm gonna fuck up your shit. I'm gonna get them to kill each other, so it's not gonna work." Yeah, I like that. But he got found out, John. He failed his fucking perception check. It's good.
John, while you're doing your event, can I go ahead and do my event?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I was having this would be done already, but the mouse is screwing me over. Like I can't grab the page, like can't grab the thing and move it. The whole page moves when I try to move the thing.
Instead of dragging it, why don't you just right-click copy and then go over to where you want and paste it? Logic.
Facts.
Pizza?
Sandwich.
Sounds good. No, so while they're working on that, I like
got mine.
the character arcs that we're getting out of this. Go ahead.
So my event is under it's after the invites it. I mean, clearly it's before the Imperial Gojira, and there's gonna be things before it. Alistair Hela, who is a descendant of Ashura, what's his name?
Nasher. Yeah.
Nasher. Yeah, a descendant of Nasher. He's with the Troglodytes, he's actually the first creature to kill a monolith in combat. So
Nice. Quick question.
Uh-huh.
What is the name of the Brotherhood of Ro?
The
Was it
Brotherhood of Ro.
Was the
That's the
Brotherhood?
order.
The Brotherhood of Ro.
Yeah, ROE.
ROE.
Like the egg.
Yes, like the egg.
That's so cool.
Because they're salmon.
That's like some fucking. If this was a game, that was some questing knowledge. He was questing for knowledge from like 6,000 years ago and shit, dude.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is he had to have been put on that. Like maybe when he first got exiled, he was in such a ragey piss mood. He was like, I'm gonna figure it out how to fuck everybody up. And the queen or the empress was like, yeah, I know this ritual, but you gotta find this other bits.
Yeah, I mean, it could totally be her that sent him on everything, right? I mean, I could see that.
I would like just maybe the very beginning, like just the ritual part or something. And then he like is so dead set on whatever he decides to do that he like will find whatever else needs to be found. Kumo to me seems like Alexander the Great's father. Like this dude will not be denied a kingdom.
Talk about Philip, bro.
Yeah.
All right, Pookie. You get to finish up the round.
And what does that mean? I can do a scene, an event, a period?
You can do a period and an
Nested
event
stuff.
if you nest them, or you can do a scene and an event nested, or you can just do a period, scene, or event.
Okay. I'm gonna add a scene onto Alistair Gila killing the first monolithic because he figures out up until this point they could never like fully kill them. Even if they would destroy these giant beings, they would regenerate or they would come back.
Or split into multiples.
I kind of want to make it like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna straight rip Attack on Titan. Like they have to be hit in a certain spot of their body to die. Otherwise, they constantly regenerate. Like no matter what you do. So, but the flip side of these creatures is they're not very smart. They're almost like zombies. They kind of just do one thing and that's it. So if they're attacking the wall, they just attack the wall. If they're trying to eat you, they just try to eat you. They don't think. They don't have any tactics or anything, which is why the walls and the soldiers that they have in Gojira have been able to hold them off. But when Gila figures out how to kill them is because he figures out where the weak spot is and he develops a like a class or in D&D, I guess it would be a path of a class that are adept at killing the monolithics. So that's why I want the scene to be like he develops like his own personal army, his own order, I guess.
Nice.
To destroy them.
The monolithic killers.
Yeah, monolithic killers or mono slayers or I don't know.
Yeah, because there's probably like defenders of the wall now. There's like different like subclasses.
Yeah,
I love how our
Or-
country of lizard people is named Gojira, and it's being attacked by large, non-lizard creatures the size of Godzilla.
It's true.
Well, some of them are smaller, like just large. Like there's all different kinds, you know. But like the big ones, the colossal ones, they're the ones that can like break the walls and shit because they're so big.
I still haven't seen Attack on Titan, so.
You never seen Attack on Titan? You should watch it, dude. It's so dope. So,
no, but I kind of like the idea that on these different rings, like the outside rings and things, you have more and more of a smaller version, kind of like infected animals in Princess Mononoke when they weren't large. The large demon ones, they were the smaller infected ones. So it's like, oh, you have these smaller, large creatures that are abominations that are further out. But the big ones are like the ones that come in trying to destroy the capital, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Corinth, you're not going to delve into it, but need you to pick your legacy, and then we're going to wrap up for the night.
Ooh, legacy. And the legacy is what I want to delve into, right? Like
it's something you want to delve into that we address during this round of play.
I want to know more about the quest that Kumo went on to get the ritual. I want to know more about like what all that entailed.
So the order is called the Order of the Three Cuts, and the specialized maneuver they have is they have to create this triangle of cut pattern, like into where the spine of these creatures would be, and that's how you kill them. By hitting that spine with 3 cuts, it actually kills them. So
nice.
The fact that he's from the 3 cuts and all this other stuff.
Dude, that's so dope. Seeing that he's the exchange child
from the 3 cuts.
Or related, he's descended from the exchange child.
Yeah, well, I just mean like that's so, because that means like his family probably trained, and like there's all these social constraints to what that means, cross race.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. There's actually a story there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm even thinking maybe the blades they use have to be like fire swords or something to go along with the fact that the Shinto use fire. So that's how they're able to pierce like these kill them.
He's a healing rog.
He's a null giant.
He's a null negative energy. He's not one of the ones that got changed.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Although by now he's probably not a full null giant anymore. He's probably a part something and a part something. Okay. Generations later. But, you know.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what would be the entity that energy was not besides fire that destroys the thing that was created through the negative energy of the breeding pit.
Maybe it has nothing to do with it. Maybe his negative energy like protects him.
Ooh, how about this? What if it's manifested order, energy of law? And since they're chaos rooted,
maybe he's causing with the fire and the negative energy. Maybe he's causing like a necrotic rot.
Well, I was thinking the three cuts. He created his own order, which could be like a house of sorts. What are the Trogs as far as racial features for their backgrounds for culture? It's also like Asiatic, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
this world, yes.
they're Asiatic in this world, and
So
they out of the Horde were the first ones that really touched on magic, and like we were talking earlier, they were the ones that actually built permanent structures and stuff. They started as the
Oh, I think I got an idea.
they almost started like ninjas. They were harriers.
Yeah, so what if the three cuts represents the three different types of blades that everyone in this order has to use? You have to use a psychic blade, a necrotic blade, and a positive energy blade. And after you do these three cuts, this technique, those three energies are what destroys their regeneration. So the fire element is more like how they get themselves up in the air and shit. Like they use maybe rocket propelled or something to get high enough in the air, just like on Attack of Titan. Attack of Titan, they use these devices which anchor them into walls and throw them up into the air like bungee almost, so they can attack them because they're so tall. So we could say that they use their fire technology to develop like rocket boosters, basically, that allow these giants or this order to like, fly through the air and fight these motherfuckers.
And also, like the Trogs are sappers, so like they could also be using explosives to knock them down.
Yeah, so all three of the energies that made them, psychic, necrotic, and positive energy, are the three things you have to use kind of in concert to destroy their regeneration. So
to create some kind of balance of Zen.
Yeah, to kill them. So, and he's the one who figures it out.
What I was going to say is on the rocket stuff, if you wanted to do something that made them like get up there to them, since they're fire mages, couldn't they do some kind of like magic based instead of technology based, like magic based wearables, like charge necklaces that allow you to get some kind of light spell or
top of the way where the troglodytes, like what their specialty is what helps the order be so good at doing it, which is why he was able to figure it out. Originally, this was going to be fire damage, but I'm thinking that maybe the fire is something else. Like you're saying, maybe it's like they learn how to control heat so it can throw them up on plumes of air or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, like that's where they should come into play. Or maybe it is just the explosions. Maybe the explosions are part of it too. Like they've learned.
I like the idea, like the ATST walkers corn thing. Like, oh, they blow up their fucking leg, and then while that's regenerating, they stab them in the fucking back while they're on the ground.
Or like they've learned to use the explosive force of explosions to like throw them up and like launch them.
Yeah, there's so many different ways you could do that.
You know,
they time out. The troglodytes, which are short people in the first place, and then you just said they had firepower. So you're telling me that troglodytes can take the smallest of their race and shove them into cannons to be fired at the spine.
Why are we always trying to shoot small people through cannons?
Of large
troglodytes are like 6 feet tall.
Yeah. I mean, they're smaller than the giants, but I mean, they're still pretty big.
Yeah.
Then what the hell is really the difference between a troglodyte and a lizard person?
A lot.
The type
lizard
of
folk are a lot thicker and more like alligator looking.
The type of lizard. That's all that's different.
Troglodytes are generally like skinnier and, you know.
Yeah, I thought they were smaller versions, and like the kobold is like the halfling version of it.
No, the kobolds are a lot different.
You ever seen like The Descent? You know the creatures in The Descent that they're running from?
Oh, so the troglodytes are the cave-dwelling ones.
Yeah, that's a troglodyte, dude.
Gotcha.
As far as I know,
I haven't seen The Descent.
That's what I've always assumed
cave.
Look like weird, malformed, malcolored. Because troglodyte's like another
white, milky eyes.
Or ugly, right? Like, dude, she's a fucking troglodyte. She's disgusting. She's gross. Yeah. Or in my case, dude,
troglodyte can also be used to reference somebody who's not bright. That person's a troglodyte.
Yeah.
They don't understand how something works.
Okay, so what was the lens for next time, Corn? Sorry, I already forgot.
We haven't picked one yet. Oh, the legacy. Sorry, the legacy was the ritual, like the whole part of the ritual.
Yeah, the quest.
The quest that got the ritual in the first place. Okay.
Yeah.
I called it. What is that? What did I call it? I called it a name.
The Chimera.
Yeah, the quest.
I thought that was pretty cool.
It's not a bad name at all.
The Dark Chimera Ritual.
All right. Well, guys, this has been a fun night of microscoping the world of Gojira, or the nation of Gojira.
Bro, I got so much I want to build. So much I want to build.
This has been the Bull Critters Corner. Like, subscribe, Some of this will end up on YouTube for sure.
Tell
so
your
check it out
friends.
over there.
Somebody better bring back Fujima.
And we will be back next week. What is next week's Monday? That's the 8th.
8th.
The
We'll
8th
do
of
Microscope at least one more week.
We're going to do one more Microscope for sure. That's not going to be the end of it per se, but we're going to jump back into Dawn of Worlds a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're currently in talks of trying to get some sort of a role-playing game going. So we'll be kind of switching things in and out. We'll try and actually create a schedule, so you have a calendared schedule to know what we are going to be doing in any particular week. I'm going to be available, I think, for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks before my work schedule is going to take me away, and you guys are just going to have to deal with the other 3 guys. The other 3.
The other 3.
The
Two.
other 3.
2. What? Huh?
I was going to say, what was it?
Wait,
What?
am I getting
2
thrown in
bears
the
and a
pit?
twink?
Am I getting thrown in the pit?
Oh, you are getting thrown in the pit, John. The twink pit.
Okay, so either way, this has been the Bull Critters Corner. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week.
Watch out for the thick milkshakes. Dangerous.
Dump shakes?
Thick chocolate milk.
Thick chocolate milkshakes.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.